welcome to the Today-ish podcast. I am your host, James Lee, with the lovely... Oh, sorry.
Hello, everybody.
there you go.
Dani Love here. Sweet, sassy Belle already hitting us with a super chat. She's the one last week that said, Cougar, look at those legs.
The Puma.
Let's just go ahead and start off the show with this. Here we go. Pence for being mean to Dani the first couple of times I watched. Sorry for being a hater.
Oh, look at that.
You guys, look at that is the best super chat. I might pin this here the whole episode. James is cracking up right now. I'm on my redemption tour. It's like when in the movie Dumb and Dumber, what does he say? You finally redeemed yourself or something like that. Anyways.
But he didn't actually redeem himself. That's the thing, though, in Dumb and Dumber.
But I did.
You know, that the irony of that citing that is that I think he went further down a bad path there. I don't remember exactly the moment, but they definitely do never redeem themselves.
It's such a good movie, isn't it? It really is. I was just thinking there's so many pretty bird and the IOUs and
there's probably some Israeli.
So you're saying there's a chance. Like there's just that's our era. But great movie.
Yes.
Lloyd Christmas.
What great movie. Yes.
Put another shrimp on the Barbie. I mean, I could go on and on.
I'm still getting the hang of this camera situation. I panned to you. I don't know if you noticed. I panned to you 2 seconds later than I wanted to. Because I was like, the lovely, and then I was trying to come on, get this.
Oh, I thought you just wanted the camera on you.
No, I was trying to get it. I was trying to get it switched over. But we got a great show.
Yes.
We're digging into. This is the pre-debate show, the great debate between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, who I honestly had never really heard of before. I had seen a few of his clips, but how is he getting on to Joe Rogan? Joe's bringing on what? J.D. Vance. He's bringing on all these state propaganda actors and mouthpieces. What's going on here? Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel.
Look at you're late to the show. Okay, I said early on, and you were like, yeah, it could be, but I did a whole thing. Is Joe Rogan state media after that Theo Vaughn where he was being so rude to Theo? And now I really believe that he is. And yes, we're going to be talking about this Candace Owens, Andrew Wilson thing. But I have to say there is a part of me, even though I love Candace and I'm, of course, rooting for her, that wonders if the whole thing, we're just all a part of a show. We're just suckers. They're all in on it together. It's all entertainment purposes because it started on Joe Rogan. How did he get on? Who is this guy? He's a no-name.
That's right.
Gets on the 300. No, I'm not doing it. Now she accepts. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It's a little bit of a show, and that's why they call people actors, right? Even there's called political actors. It's a very interesting terminology, right? They're not political officials. They're not politicians. Political actors.
And then you have Patrick Bet-David,
the biggest plant of all time,
doing the moderation. So it's who knows?
Who would you have preferred to do the moderation? Other than
Baron Coleman.
Well, no, because Baron Coleman would not be
fair,
unbiased, right? You have to have somebody who
Julian
is
Dory.
In the middle. Julian Dory. I'm not so sure. Julian Dory seems to be on the side of hey, they think there's something weird going on here.
Yeah, I mean.
So it has to be somebody like Daily Wire, but who's Matt Walsh.
I don't know, but PBD's an interesting choice.
PBD is. I'm not a big fan of PBD just because I think he's a big. The way he made his money was through basically a multi-level marketing ploy. That's how you made, tens of millions of dollars. And then now he's directly tied into all those, the Trump administration.
The only thing I thought of was that it was his platform that had Charlie Kirk say that he didn't believe October 7th was organic and he questioned it. So I was thinking there might be that angle there where he's kind of neutral. But anyways, I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a fair point because he did bring Charlie Kirk on to talk about October 7th. I don't know if he knew that Charlie Kirk was going to say something like that, but
since Charlie Kirk's been assassinated, it's one of the most replayed, dug up clips of Charlie Kirk. So we're going to get into all of it. But yeah, I didn't watch it. Who is Andrew Wilson?
Well, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to play some clips of him on the Rogan podcast given his theories, and then I'm sure Dani's going to rebut in whenever she wants as far as like him getting some stuff wrong here or there or correct. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear your reaction to his theories, and then we're going to play a lot of the stuff that Candace has talked about. You got a bunch of evidence. I see you have a potential slideshow of evidence that you've collected throughout the last
I've got
year
two
or so,
slideshows.
which will be very helpful because I think it's not like 100% confirmed, but I will be speaking at this event next month about the Charlie Kirk assassination.
I
can't give away too many details.
Oh, okay. Never
But
mind.
what?
Well, I was going to say I saved a tweet last night when I was going through stuff of Charlie's for you and your speech.
Excellent.
You just reminded me.
Yeah.
For those of you that were not on my Instagram live, I don't think I said this on here, but I actually can't remember. Your girl's running off like, what?
45 minutes.
No, 2 hours and 30 minutes of sleep in the last 24. My right eyelid is like permanently twitching. I'm just like Katy Perry, malfunctioning.
Okay, so let's get it going because I have a feeling we're going to go through a lot today. So let's start with this clip, and we can pause it, and if you want to pause at any point to respond to it. But here's Andrew Wilson on Rogan because this is what got everything started. Because he said a bunch of stuff, people started reacting to it online, and then Andrew, being Andrew, I guess he is a cloud chaser. He's like, all right, I'll pay you, what was it, $300K or something like that to get on your podcast, which is like kind of crazy to do. It's like, really, $300K? And he's like, please, I need help, guys. I need
Well,
you to
we're
raise
going to get
money."
into
Yeah.
that because I have something very interesting with that.
Okay.
Okay, here's the clip.
Yeah.
Great.
But have you noticed, like, the flat earthers have fleets of people who will debate their stances? Like, fleets of them who are like, we can't wait to debate with you on the flat earth. It's like, on the other side, though, in this particular conspiracy, you can't get these people to debate their positions.
Like, who won't debate their positions?
We offered Candace Owens, I offered her $300,000 to do a debate. I was like, we'll give you $300,000.
What is her position? What does she think happened?
She thinks that Israel worked in conjunction with TPUSA and Erica Kirk to murder Charlie.
Based on what?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Nobody actually knows. She's never presented a single shred of evidence thus far that Israel ever worked to murder Kirk, that Erica Kirk certainly didn't. In fact,
We'll
her
pause right
position
there
for
real
the
quick.
longest
So
time
let's
was
just-
if Erica Kirk comes out and tells me to
Let's
stop.
just make sure that, so is this characterization accurate?
First of all, I have not seen even a clip of him. I just knew this was going on from reading online. And first impression is he's calling Candace's bluff. If this isn't a setup, he's calling Candace's bluff on Joe Rogan, thinking that he's going to, make headlines and nothing's going to happen. And I think he's going to get run the fuck over in this debate because Candace has had many other topics before Charlie Kirk where people go, let's debate you. Let's debate you. She goes into these situations and murders every single time.
Has she debated
Yes.
people in the past about Brigitte Macron or other
Brigitte
things?
Macron, or, she's gone on the Whatever podcast to talk to all of the, prostitution whores. This is like the third time I've said this line today. About being a woman and having a family, traditional values versus OnlyFans, and she just slaughters. She's very good in that arena. So I think that this is either a full setup or he's about to get smashed.
Well, because the thing that he said right there that I'm not sure is true is I don't think Candace ever said that Erica Kirk plotted to kill Charlie.
She never said that.
I don't think she's ever said that.
She's questioned Erica's motives and her character, and she has brought evidence forward. She's the one that released the Dairy Queen footage, which is very weird, right? Because the feds were painting this narrative early on that, he did it. He was in the woods trying to hide the gun. And then Candace is like, was he? It looks like he's getting a frickin' McFreeze or whatever they're called, So she's presented that. She's presented information about Erica Kirk waiting for Andrew Colvett to arrive on the private tarmac in Salt Lake City, which is super, super odd. She's the one who questioned where is the exit wound, where is the bullet. She's the one who questioned the whole 30-06, which really forced Andrew Colvett to come out with that now famous tweet about the surgeon saying that he had the spine of steel. She has gone in depth, and we're going to go over all of these different things today, but she has presented more evidence than the feds. So to say that she's presented nothing is crazy.
Yeah. So okay. So let's keep rolling on this clip here.
And I just want to say the biggest thing that she's talked about when it comes to Israel and that she's released in terms of evidence is Charlie questioning his prior Zionist stance in private text messages with her. And obviously there's the guy from InfoWars, what's his name? That Harrison Smith that put out that. So she's bringing a spotlight to that as well. And I think that is obviously important. All right, continue.
Stop this, to stop the conspiracy on this, I will. So Erica did. She went out publicly and she was like, enough, You're just causing more problems than good here as this investigation's going on. And then suddenly Erica's now part of the conspiracy. By the next day, she's trying to cover it up. She's part of the conspiracy too. When I went to the TPUSA HQ and I talked to Erica briefly while I was there, the first thing I did was what I think every normal, moral human being would ever do. I gave her a hug.
Oh,
and I told her how god-awful sorry I was that happened to her.
He bugs me so
Like,
much.
can you even imagine how that's got to feel for her? Especially now that she has tens of thousands of people accusing her of murdering and conspiring to murder and then cover up what happened to her own. I mean, that's like mind-boggling psychological torture on a level that I've never seen.
Yeah, and hindsight is 20/20, but given the reaction, I think it probably would have been better for her to like lay low for a little while.
1000%.
The going out with the sparklers was not a great idea.
Wow, I actually I
all
respect Joe
that
for
was
this.
not a great idea because it just seemed insane. And maybe sometimes in grief or when you're trying to show that they're not going to hold us back, people make choices that could be interpreted in a very bad way.
100%. The interesting thing is I asked her about that. I asked her, like, what's the deal there?
What's with the sparklers?
Well, what's with the aberration in behavior? And she's like, look, I was put in like the worst spot I could ever think of. I was the background character. I was just there to support my husband. That's it. The only reason I even really got involved is because Charlie was so pro-marriage, and he wanted to demonstrate to the world you can be married and have kids, and this is the good life. So when he dies, she takes over, right? This moves over to her control. She says, well, the first thing I want to do is honor his last book. That's the very first thing I want to do. I want to honor his legacy. And she's like, I don't know.
Okay, I have to stop it for a sec. I do. Because, first of all, he is so annoying to me, just the way he talks and everything. But she didn't need to take over as CEO of the company. Charlie Kirk was a male who was speaking to mostly other males that were in their college age. Why all of a sudden are you going to put the supposed trad wife, in the CEO role? If you really cared about TPUSA and you really cared about the business, you would find somebody else that has more of a demeanor, more of a, position like Charlie had, another male, that could kind of carry the torch. What college-age male is going to go from listening to Charlie Kirk debate them and then go to Crazy Eyes at the tent? No one's going to do that. It's insane. Charlie was about traditional values. He was about having a wife and a kids being the best thing ever. And now she's abandoned her children to go on a CEO tour. She was laughing on FaceTime with her coworkers. We got to raise money. Forget the sparklers. She was on a merchandise. We got to sell. We made $100 million. Everything about her was revealed to be disingenuous, and I actually have to give Joe Rogan credit for at least calling that out, because behavior was weird and it continues to be weird. It hasn't died down. And while all of this has been going on, things like her connection at 17 with a Romania orphanage that was trafficking children has been uncovered. Her connections with the Barbara Colcrin, or what's her name, real estate company that had ties to Jeffrey Epstein have been uncovered. She's been getting appointed in the Trump administration. So enough of this poor widow story. It is. I think he's a plant for her, and again, I think they're making a big mistake.
It's possible. Well, yeah. I mean, what I'll say about that is appointing Erica signaled basically to the rest of the world that TPUSA 2.0 is going to be different than 1.0. Baron Coleman had a show on this where, you know how you name the software programs? It's like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then you switch to another number when the new version becomes incompatible with the old version. Like, you can't continue to use your old software. You have to update to the new version of 2.0. So the 2.0 version here is maybe the way they want to run TPUSA going forward, which is essentially there's no more debate. I mean, you notice they're not really debating people. There's no more open dialogue. It's this way. This is how you support America. This is how you be a patriot versus let's talk about what it means to be a patriot and the various characteristics or whatnot.
Candace is acting more like a grieving widow than Erica Kirk. Candace is asking questions. It's very obvious to everybody except for, 60 and up Fox watchers that Charlie probably wasn't killed by a lone gunman with a 30-06. Candace also, talking about evidence, released that army crawl video on the roof last week. I mean, she's released so much interesting footage and, different clips and different things. Erica hasn't questioned anything. She hasn't questioned it one bit.
Yeah, that's interesting because, if you are the widow, you would be acting sort of irrationally. And so I don't mind people acting irrationally, but she seems to be acting actually very, very rational in the sense of like trying to make more money.
According to this guy, she was saying, look, I went out with the sparklers because she's basically claiming I was acting irrationally there.
Well, no, that he's doing the thing where it's like everybody grieves differently, kind of whatever. Yeah. But nobody grieves like that. I haven't, in the history of the world. So maybe the first time for everything, I suppose.
Right.
But yeah, let's finish this clip.
Yeah.
We have to get through this. Let's and we can do it on 1.5 times speed.
Exactly how to take this position.
Go to the wheel.
At the same time, there's expectations for the organization my husband built that I want to honor, right? But, I'm also in the middle of grief. And it's like, I don't know how you balance that position. Who's been in that position ever?
Right. And especially who's been in that position that's
Jackie
not accustomed
Kennedy?
to being scrutinized in the public eye.
Everything. And it's a lack of charitability that's so bad, too. Like, let me give you an example. If you say, Paul's so lazy, he never gets to work on time. You don't actually mean Paul has never once gotten to work on time. That's not what people mean.
Right.
But the way that these people will scrutinize every detail of what a person does, they can make a liar out of anybody. Because they'll take statements like that, which in the common terms, if you say, man, Paul's never here on time, you don't literally mean he's never here on time. Nobody talks that way. But if you push on everything a person's ever said, tongue-in-cheek, not tongue-in-cheek, they misremember an event, they don't misremember an event, you can make a liar out of anybody.
Right. Yeah.
And that sort of scrutiny from all that public trauma, and it was the most traumatic event Zoomers have ever gone through. The biggest, a public assassination like this, same thing with millennials.
It also exposed people's character that they were celebrating it.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to feel bad about that. They can't feel good about that. And they have to feel bad about the response because so many people got fired because of it and so many people got attacked online, and rightly so.
But they were desecrating his memorial, and leftists were celebrating that. They were saying they were going to give the guy money who did it.
Yeah.
All right. So that last part, I do take a little... That's the part why they're so upset about this whole thing, by the way, because their media apparatus was ready to go, saying this is a left-wing issue. The trans community, the furries, they're causing all the gun violence, and Candace threw a wrench in that whole, narrative. Like the whole Barry Weiss team was ready to go. Like CBS, they were bringing on Erica to do this huge town hall about leftist violence, and then half of the conversation now is like, well, could Israel have been involved in this whole thing? And so it messed up the whole plan.
We filmed it was like a very early episode, and we filmed the day after on September 11th. And I said, guarantee you they're going to say this is, remember?
Yeah.
I said, I bet you that they're going to say it was a furry, anti. And what's so crazy is during the preliminary hearing, we learned from Lance Twiggs, Tyler's roommate and so-called lover, who I believe, is a Fed operative, that they never even discussed political views. They never even discussed Charlie Kirk.
He was also not looking very furry-like. He was looking very actually masculine. Like before, it was all this trans stuff, and then he comes out
Now
on the Zoom. I think he looks like a masculine dude.
But,
like his
okay,
voice is
so-
very low. It's not, he's
No.
not talking in any kind of feminine kind of way.
I don't know much about the furry world, so like maybe you can shed a little light on this for me. But like,
I could not.
if like, couldn't he be like a male furry? Like, are there male and female furries, or is a furry just a una?
I couldn't.
Party.
I couldn't. I couldn't tell you, but I think they made it seem like he was transitioning, like he was going from male to female. There's all this stuff, like, you know, the
Right.
photos that were shown, like the one where he's basically in this like outfit, making him look super feminine, and he comes on. He's, I mean, he has longer hair, but a lot of dudes are growing out their hair nowadays in the man bun situation. So, and his voice is so deep, it doesn't seem like he's going through any kind of procedure, process.
No,
Nothing.
And Lance is a very bright kid. I did background research on him. I don't have any elements on this, but he ended up going to this charter school that was actually funded, funny enough, by Bill Gates, because Bill Gates wanted to support different charter schools that provide students the opportunity to also take college curriculum while you are in high school. And so Lance not only was taking advanced biology and chemistry, but was simultaneously taking college credits as young as his sophomore year. He was described by students as advanced. And you look at the landscape of the Mormon community in Utah, you know that Mormons are disproportionately recruited to our intelligence agencies. Is it possible that Lance Twiggs was someone who they knew was bright, they knew was smart, they recruited him early on, and, he then was able to go into Tyler Robinson's closet, steal his clothes, and be the decoy on campus? No, I'm just kidding, but, set him up.
So that's some of the new stuff, and we'll get there. So then essentially after this conversation with Joe Rogan, he goes on and he's like, $300K, to debate Candace Owens. And she's like, all right, let's do it. Basically this is how, more or less, this is the final offer, which has been agreed to, which is like $300,000. Sure, I'll take $300,000 from you to debate, because I have all of the information. I've been looking at this for months. This has been basically the sole focus of her show for the last 9 or 10 months.
Yeah.
More or less. And so she accepted $300K. It's going to be in her studio. There's going to be her team there, but his team will also be there providing, I guess, live fact checking. So it seems pretty fair to me. This has Michael, I think initially it was Michael Knowles, but then they changed to PBD. I don't know the exact details of why PBD came in versus Michael Knowles, but I think those two probably pretty similar in terms of their moderation. I know she's very, very close to Michael Knowles. I think she goes to his church. He was in her wedding. So they're very, very close. Maybe they were too close in terms of this. But there seems, I think the facts will come out, who has a stronger argument, because right now we don't know for sure who's right, because we don't have everything quite yet, but we have, here's what's been presented to us so far, who can make the better case, right? That's the whole point of a debate, is that we're not 100% sure, you're not sure, I'm not sure, I have my theories, you have yours, I'm going to back mine up with the evidence that I have, you are going to back yours up, and then see how the audience responds.
This is the thing that I would be concerned about if I was Andrew Wilson.
Okay.
Candace Owens
Besides losing $300,000, spending $300,000.
Well, look.
I mean, I could think of a lot better ways to use $300,000.
If he's trying to get publicity and his name recognized worldwide or nationwide, that $300,000 has done that now, because I didn't know who the hell this guy was. Thank God, because I couldn't listen to more than that 5 minutes sped up at 1.5. You can tell, kind of one of those annoying academics. What I call, I've made an acronym for people like this actually. AKIA.
What's that?
Know it all.
Well, I think he's kind of like a pseudo academic. I don't know if he's a true academic, a pseudo academic, very much like that guy a while ago, that British guy. Douglas Murray when he was talking about, have you been? You know, the have you been to Gaza? You've never been.
Oh.
That guy.
I don't even know.
But
He's sitting there, he's smoking his cigarette. You know, the first thing I did is I went up to her and I did what everybody should do.
Yeah.
I gave her a hug.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from you. Anyways, but I am going to be tuning in tomorrow. My point is that I would be concerned not about losing the 300,000 because I think he's accomplished his goal. Now people know who Andrew Wilson is. Period. And Candace can put a down payment on a you know, an income property.
Yeah.
But she has sat on a lot of evidence that she's drip released over the last 11 months since Charlie Kirk was killed. I brought up some of it already previously on this episode. How do you know she's not holding on to more? And I wouldn't be so sure that you're going to go on there and do your side justice. I feel as though the Erica Kirk, TPUSA, Fed, slop side keeps thinking they're going to do something, and maybe this guy's a representative for them. I would not put that past the whole situation. And I think he's going to go in there and this is my prediction, but I was wrong about the Spurs, so who knows? But go in there and embarrass himself because I think she's probably holding on to stuff.
We'll have to see. And so there's different there. So I do want to go over kind of each of the ones that I think have been brought up. And I want to, unfortunately, you're going to have to hear more of him a little bit here because I want to bring up like the 30-06, the exploding mic situation, you know, Egyptian planes, various other things that we've talked about over the last 10 months. And then he went on Rogan. He gave his side of like the 30-06, at least for me, is one of those things that I cannot ignore, right? That gun, the amount of damage, various other, the damage to the vertebrae. It seems like the angle doesn't seem right. It's like it's hitting a vertebrae it shouldn't hit. There's a lot of weird things in terms of the ballistics information. A lot of gun experts have made plenty of videos on this. And so he was on Rogan talking about the 30-06. I don't know
Who, Andrew Wilson?
Yeah, so I'm going to hear or play his thing, and then we'll react. You'll give, you know, your information, our information that we have on it.
Yeah.
But I do want to hear, like, his side, because then now we know, because the whole point is, like, hey, this is what you're expecting him to say tomorrow in case he changes his mind, right? What if tomorrow he goes in and he's like, I never said that. He's like, well, are you sure? You said it right here. So,
and you know she's done her due diligence. She's researched. She's going to say, well, which one is it?
Yeah.
If he tries to backtrack. So he definitely shouldn't do that. But before we play that clip, I found this really interesting. So he did do a GoFundMe of sorts, right, to crowdsource the money. And if he backs out, the money that he raised, the $300,000, is going to go to Erica Kirk's children. In other words, it's going to go to Erica Kirk. Since they're not the age of 18.
Hang on a second. So if he doesn't do the debate,
yes,
the money
is going to Erica Kirk. Look at it here. This is in the fine print. If the debate does not take place, up to $300,000 raised here will go to benefit the children of Charlie and Erica Kirk. Well, the problem
why
is
do they need more money?
I'm telling you. So I think this debate should take place, but if he backs out, what do you know? Erica's once again making more money off of this whole entire situation.
That's crazy. I didn't know, because I feel like if the debate doesn't happen, the $300,000 should just go back to the donors.
Right, return to sender.
The return to sender, because that was not the initial purpose. It's like a Kickstarter, whatever. It's like if your product does not get made, that money just doesn't get funneled into a different product or different management company. In this case, he's like, yeah, the money will just, instead of going to Candace, it's going to go to Erica.
Is that, and how bizarre is that? That's very strange, right?
Well, one could say that's potentially, I know he's disclosing it here, so it's not money laundering, but it's certainly maybe a bait and switch at the very least.
So I'm very, very curious to see what happens tomorrow. But when I was reading that detail, I go, hold on. Okay, now let's go to the clip.
Go back to that tweet that you had. I'm curious about people's reaction. If like who? Let me see. Just scroll down to the comments. I want to see what people are saying about this shit. Sounds like his ego is writing checks his body can't cash. Sam Parker. What are you like? I'm surprised that you keep going down. I'm just seeing if anybody's reacting. Like, so you're just basically raising money for Erica again?
Look I wanted to do this story, but my little baby has not made it possible. But
Well, you did an Erica Kirk story yesterday, didn't you?
I did an Erica Kirk's. I know, but this one I wanted to do a little bit more research on, but I thought I'd save it for today.
Yeah.
See how selfless I am? Breaking news here on the
Yeah.
Today Show. Anyways, it
Yes,
is what
it's
it
like-
is.
Because then he could just make us some shit and saying, "Oh, Candace, this happened, that happened. We're not doing the debate anymore."
And look, I can even show you. I did this yesterday. I, grokked it. I fact checked it. It is what? No, I'm just saying.
Go
There's
directly
no-
grok fact check.
There's no community notes, and I asked, does this mean that it would be going to Erica Kirk, not the children? They said yes because she's not 18. Blah blah blah. So, anyways,
Yeah. No, it seems. Yeah. Grok is. I found Grok to be wrong a lot recently. They've been.
AI in general is wrong all the time.
Yeah, ever since I did that story on the Israeli, they're literally making up fake websites to feed into these AI chatbots, and they'll cite these websites as fact, which is crazy.
So if he backs out,
Whoa.
whoa,
Well, he did. I saw him tweet this morning. He's like, "I'm on my way to do the debate."
you never know what happens.
I mean, look, it's all of
Look.
this is theater. A lot of this, I mean, a
If-
lot of it.
If all of
is
a sudden
theater.
he's assassinated, Erica's cashing another check.
Eric's cashing another 300. I mean,
Some more blood diamonds on her
300K is
hands.
not worth killing somebody over. I'll just say that.
You always say that, but and I'm like, they'll do it for less.
I just think killing people is just really, really messy. The cleanup, the fallout. You'd rather just make them go crazy, and they'll
I know, you
take
think
care of
that.
it. That's what I think.
Okay.
But anyways, all right. So we're gonna go back
You want me to do this one?
Andrew Wilson. Yeah, 30-06. So here's him on Rogan talking about his theory around the 30-06.
It's just hard to imagine that it's a 30-06.
look at
That's my issue with it. I look at it and, I've seen takes from guys that are gun experts, and they have a problem with it too. The thing about guns, though, is weird stuff happens
Constantly.
when you shoot bones. Like, it is possible that you wouldn't get a pass-through, depending on how it squared
Oh my
the
God.
spinal column, depending on how it hit, and depending on what kind of bullet it is. I forget the type.
These are 150 grain core lock
core
soft
locks.
tips,
That's right.
and they're soft tip.
Right,
So they
which
only have enough of a
expands.
jacket to keep the bullet together.
Right. The idea is that it expands inside the body, causing massive trauma.
Right.
Right.
Which
so,
is why I use them for hunting, and probably you have too.
Yeah. No, I haven't used that particular round.
Gosh,
but
me. Remember, the 30-06 used in the M1 Garand was used in World War II, and then it was used in Korea. Before that, we had the 03 Springfield. It was used heavily in
I
World War
can't say
I,
this person.
World War II, and again in Korea. The U.S. Army has studied 30-06 entry wounds in depth and produced many manuals on it explaining how cavitation works with 30-06 and that the bullet doesn't always penetrate. And that's with full metal jacket rounds that are designed for maximum penetration, not 150 grain core locked coming out of an antique rifle, essentially. It could easily split up very quickly. And that's why they ended up pulling fragments out of Charlie. It wouldn't surprise me if when we have all of the data from the coroner report that he has tons of shards all throughout his chest, all throughout his entire, because they were saying that there's trauma inside.
Okay, I have to stop it really quick. And I
Yes,
put my
of course.
sunglasses on because I can't even look at him or Joe Rogan.
Look at you.
Joe Rogan trying to justify that the bullet was stopped is insane, and he knows that, which makes me feel like he really is working for the government. Him talking about the shards. We learned in the preliminary hearing that there were 7 shards given to the medical examiner, but she only received 4. So, as a forensic expert, there's this guy, Joseph Scott Morgan, that basically wrote the protocol on it. He was on Julian Dory with Baron Coleman. He goes, where are the other 3 shards? He was even saying that. If you removed 7 and this guy thinks you're going to find more shards, this and that, it's a bunch of bullshit. The other thing is, he's saying there is evidence in World War II manuals that the bullet doesn't always penetrate. But if the bullet does penetrate, which it did, according to the Fed narrative, it always exits. That's the problem. It's not stopped by bone. There are thousands of videos of people replaying this where they shoot through femurs, cow femurs, cylinder blocks. They're doing gel dummies over and over and over again. Not one time has the bullet been stopped. Now, if 1 out of 1,000 times it's stopped, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a probability there. 1 out of 100, there's not one instance where it's been stopped. Show me one example. If they can produce that, then okay. See?
What is happening here?
I got to take the sunglasses off.
Something crazy just happened. I think wow, that was somebody. Our studio is falling apart. Well, I think somebody like knocked into the door next.
Look at,
oh my
I will
gosh.
just tell you right now.
Woo, that was spooky. That was spooky.
I have angels surrounding me, okay? So, all the time. Anyways, we'll play it again, but if you could produce one incident where the bullet, this specific bullet, goes through, fine, but they can't. So this is just.
Well, they're saying it's theoretically possible. I don't know. I'm not
Then
even
produce
going
an
to
example.
pretend to know enough about gums, the different jacket types and soft tip, whatever. I think somebody would have come up with a test to say, look at this did not penetrate, right? Because I don't know. Okay, so human bone, I actually don't know the answer fully. It's like, oh, human bone versus steel versus cinder blocks, concrete, which one's stronger? I assume human bone is very strong because we're very strong. So it's like you have to find the strongest
It's not stronger than steel.
piece of material and say, can this penetrate that? And it seems like, oh yeah, it's going through 4 steel plates plus the
It's just think about this area too.
Mm-hmm.
Would you think this is the strongest bone in your body?
Well, yeah, your head is very heavy. So I would assume this part of your body actually is very strong. Your neck muscles, but that's muscle though. That's different.
That's the problem.
And,
is that
and
there's
spine
a lot,
and muscle, this is a very strong part of your body though, for sure.
Yes, but what I learned from this forensic expert, Joseph Scott Morgan, on the Julian Dory podcast is there's so much going on in this area, right? You have the spinal cord, you have the vertebrae, and then you have a lot of muscles like you're saying. He says once you get in here, it almost looks like electrical wiring. There's so much going on there. And he said, when you look at the way that the bullet penetrated Charlie, it wasn't direct. It was off to the left side. And the way that the blood was flowing, he calls it, I think, a venous blood flow, which basically means it hit the carotid artery. So he does find it. And this guy, by the way, is against the exploding mic theory, right? He thinks it was, possibly,
A gunshot.
a gunshot, but he can't prove that it's a 30-06. But he's saying based on where it hit, you would expect to find an exit wound. And so we'll get into all the other stuff, but he's talking about how the autopsy should have been done. And when you talk about the fragments, he says you should have all 7 fragments. If that's reported in the examination, the autopsy, why the medical examiner did not get all 7 is very, very weird.
Right. And this is where we're going to have to wait till the actual trial for all that evidence to come out, right? Because I assume that if they did not do these procedures correctly, the defense would bring this up and say, well, this autopsy was not done according to the procedure.
Well, the autopsy was done correctly.
Oh, the autopsy was done correctly.
But then when they sent it to the medical examiner, the fragments, or is it the ATF that looks at the bullet fragments, they only received half of them. So that's the question. Where's the chain of custody? Why is this situation falling below the standard?
Right. That's the defense. I would use that argument to see if there's any kind of clerical error, any kind of funny business that could have taken place that would have tampered with the evidence of some sort where now it's compromised, essentially.
100%.
That's the part I would look at all these holes. Like, was everything done according to the actual policy of how you're supposed to do these things?
And look, this isn't, Jane Doe. Okay? Right? Like, everybody should be treated the same, but the people, the surgeon, everybody knew what was going on. This is the biggest, assassination of our lifetime. To think that as the surgeon, as the person performing the autopsy, as the medical examiner, the detectives, all of these people wouldn't be doing their best, most thorough job with Charlie Kirk is insane. Of course you would, because there's going to be a ton of scrutiny on you.
Mm-hmm. And remember, this is a while ago, but there was all those Israeli searches that we have not talked about a lot recently, where Baron Coleman is bringing up the evidence that they found, irregular spikes and searches coming out of Israel, specifically for doctors in this hospital system, the Timpanogos Regional Hospital, the various surgeons in the hospital. Why are their names being searched? Very bizarre.
Well, and I didn't realize that is how Baron Coleman got his following, from really Ian Carroll reposting him on Ian Carroll's Free Speech Fridays or whatever he calls it, because Baron had been a litigator for many years, and him and his friends had used the Google search trends tool, which a lot of people didn't really know about prior to this assassination, to see in their friend group if they believed a mass shooting was planned or not, which is really fucked up. I'm cussing a lot today. I need to stop. Which is really messed up. But he said, there'd be a mass shooting. Me and my friend would say, let's look at the Google search trends. And if the individual, right, the crazed shooter had been searched prior, they go, oh, this was set up.
Yeah.
And there were a few instances where no one had been researched, and they were like, wow, that was an authentic situation. And so when he did this with Charlie Kirk, that's what raised all the alarm bells, is, like you said, the hospital, all of the different players, Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson, all these names, all the UVU people, they were all searched, and a lot of them from DC and, like you said, Israel.
Yes. So let's finish up with a 30-06 here with Andrew Wilson.
I can't listen to him.
Chest, which would make sense if the bullet split up here.
Right.
It would create all sorts of fragments down in the chest.
Right. That is an important distinction about the type of bullet.
Huge distinction. The
Yeah.
FMJ especially, because that's what the Army was using, is FMJ ball ammunition. It's cheap to produce, right? So they're using it in all these different wars. And the amount of people shot with that caliber between World War I, II, and Korea is astronomical. They even used the 30-06 in Vietnam in limited capacity, especially the 03 Springfield. It was still in service by special forces.
Wow.
So the question becomes, like, the U.S. Army has studied this in depth, and I went back and I pulled all their manuals, and I've even put them out, and several people have done the exact same thing and put them out explaining how cavitation works. And they're saying, look, the energy dissipation, the second it hits a human body, it dissipates very, very, very quickly with the resistance. So it doesn't always go through. Now, oftentimes it does with the FMJ, but even then, it didn't always go through. So, it's a well-studied phenomenon. Another one would be Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King gets hit through the jaw, ends up here. Well, if it's just going to blow through all bone, why did it stop
okay,
him?
can you pause there?
Well,
I actually looked into the Martin Luther King, because he was also killed, allegedly, with a 30-06. But in that case, I mean, we have way less information about that one because it took place so long ago and all the records and stuff like that. But the prosecution could never match the bullet with the gun. They never matched it. They just said, well, eyewitness said we saw this guy, and so he's the one that did it. There was no ballistics match. And also on top of that, there were other separate eyewitnesses that saw, well, there was actually another person in a bush across the motel that had some really sketchy activity, and then the next day, the Memphis Public Works goes and cuts that bush down. And now the crime scene has been altered, similar to the Charlie Kirk situation, where they went in very quickly within, 24, 48 hours, and said, we need to repave this concrete quad area here. So some parallels there. It's like, was MLK killed with a 30-06? Like, that's not, to me at least, that's not conclusively has not been conclusively proven, where he's kind of like, here's like, oh yeah, you see that situation, there was no exit wound there either. Well, it was like, I think there was no exit wound there either, because it probably wasn't a 30-06, probably a second shooter somewhere in a bush that they've cut down now. And the whole story is like, they just wanted to get this guy. This is, I believe at the time, I can't remember all the details, but this guy, James Earl Ray, I think there was some political motivation there as well, like Hoover, what was his name? The head of the FBI at the time, Hoover was his name? Anyways, I can't remember the exact thing. I'll have to look this up later, but like, it was something to do with like, this is a black guy. Anyway, there was some racial stuff going on. It's like, we need to pin it on this guy. Like, there's going to be a narrative that's going to come from this. Similar here to the situation. We got to get Tyler Robinson, because then we can push a certain narrative after that.
I saw a meme the other day that said, like, whoever the feds are hiring to write these scripts needs to be fired immediately. Because they've become so predictable, right? Like, the day after I said they're going to blame this on a trans person because we were coming off of the Luigi Mangione thing, the inscribed bullets, there were so many similarities, the 30-06 going back to MLK. Mm-hmm. It's like, switch it up a little bit. And I think they've been sloppy. What did you find? I
haven't found everything yet, but he's a white guy, so he's killing the MLK. But there was, at that time, MLK was like potentially shifting on some of the issues, similar to Charlie Kirk, and some of people say it's Israel, some other things as well. And he needed to be taken out at that point, because he no longer served the purpose that he was brought in. The civil rights movement at that point was already waning down in terms of they already had passed the Civil Rights Act. They've already passed the Voting Rights Act. So a lot of the congressional things were done already at that point in 1965. So this was in 68. So then Martin Luther, he was looking for other issues to talk about. It's like, hey, we've gotten this. You guys were on board with this, right? You can argue like the civil rights movement, was that good for black people? Did it just basically move them into the capitalist system? A lot of people said now you have more corporate control over these folks, bringing them on in the inside to control versus leaving them out there. That's also a strategy that people talk about. And then now it's like, okay, if you look at it today, was Charlie Kirk killed because he was also shifting? He served a particular purpose, right? He got Trump elected 2 times. He was in charge of all that stuff. And now he's like, all right, now you're in power. I want some influence, right? I don't want the Iran war. He said this very publicly. I don't think we should be entangled with Israel in that same way. He's like, I'm still a supporter of Israel, but we should really rethink that arrangement as well. And now all of a sudden, this guy becomes a problem.
100%. And when it comes to the situation we were talking about with MLK and the Bush, I always reflect on the interview we did the Monday after Charlie Kirk was assassinated with Mark Devine, the Navy SEAL, who was a sniper for 20, 25 years. He goes, in these situations, he immediately said, I never buy the lone gunman theory, because being a sniper for 20 years, you're trained in a situation like this, especially in elevation. You have to look through the tent. You have an audience. There's so many variables. At the very least, you would have a spotter. These types of things take months of training, and you would have multiple people in the crowd. And when you look at all of the guys wearing maroon shirts, the buff guys, the bald guys, the George Zins, the Patsies, it doesn't feel that this was just Tyler Robinson, crazed, never talked about these political ideals with his boyfriend, went up there, he has a rifle in his leg, he's got a limp, but now he's army crawling around doing somersaults. There's so many different situations where you could poke holes in the narrative, and it's just mounting more and more, in my opinion.
Let's
continue
all right,
with this
let's
douche.
let's finish this. We have 10 seconds left, I think.
He really bugs me.
The second it has impact, it begins to slow down, and then it impacts something else, slows down even more. So it's totally possible that this guy was hit with a 30-06. I don't know why that would be in the realm of impossibility. We have enough data on the ammo to know that, yeah, it's very possible this happened.
It is definitely possible.
Look at Joe. It's definitely possible. He went from the beginning of that conversation to say, that's the part I have a problem with. I don't believe. And at the end of that 3 minutes, he was like, yeah, definitely possible.
We have
What
a
do you think about
new
that?
super chat. I can't even comment on that guy. He bugs me so much. We have a new super chat. Ratata. I don't know how you say it. 2315. Thank you so much. As Matt Kim mentioned, between the rehabilitation campaign of Hunter, Candace sadly been part of it, and that Wilson guy, everything fake and gay for sure. I mean, I feel that way. Looking for my jacket.
Yeah. Matt Kim, welcome back, Matt Kim, to the internet. He took a little bit of time off, and now he's back. I'm very happy to see him out there doing his thing, giving his take, because he really thinks about things before he talks about it. And I think he might be right, because I did a Hunter Biden story the other day about the laptop situation, and then I saw Matt Kim's take on it. Yeah, I think there is a possibility that this is all a bit of theater happening. It's like, why are we rehabilitating Hunter Biden? I know you said you kind of like him.
I originally said that I believe that he's doing this because he's going to link up with Gavin Newsom or somebody as a VP, and he's going to run for office. I think he's campaigning because people will not give Gavin Newsom the time of day, the Joe Rogans, the big podcasts, because they don't like him for whatever reason. They know that he's going to run. They don't want to support the Democratic movement. Nobody in their right mind thinks that we're going to bring in a crack addict as a VP, but let me tell you, we brought in Trump. It's very possible. And so I think he's laying the groundwork. He is a likable guy, and I think he's very relatable. How many people in this country suffer from addiction? He talks about it. He's open about it. When it came to the laptop stuff, he goes, look, it was almost freeing. They put out everything about me, and now I have nothing to hide. So literally, if he were to run for public office of some sort, they can't bring up anything on him.
Unless he has some more improprieties that we don't know about, but it seems like they tried their best to get him. And looking at it now, I mean, the stuff that they were talking about with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, with the deals, the Chinese deals, the Ukrainian deals, they were like $5 million. Okay, Trump has made a billion in the last year and a half on all these weird, sketchy deals, and I'm just like, wow, just the I guess the scale of the corruption is different. I'm not saying the Bidens weren't corrupt. I'm just saying the scale of the corruption is quite vast now that we're in the Trump era. And now we're just like, yeah, I guess that's what happens. I guess he just insider trades all the time. And I guess nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, look, I think something's going to happen with President Trump. I don't know that he's going to be finishing his term as president based on some information that I've got. And we'll get into that later. But it's just like this guy, Ratatata2315, is saying about Matt Kim, saying they're all in on it together. Same thing with politics, right? The Bidens work with the Trumps. They pretend to hate each other, but they're all working for the same master. Thank you again so much for that very generous super chat. And
the only way to hold or change anything is to really hold their feet to the fire. You really can't be like, oh, this is my guy. I trust my guy. That's probably the most, I would say, naive thing to do that a lot of people do. It's like, oh, we got Trump in there. He's working on our behalf. Or Biden's in there. He's working for us. None of these people are working for you guys. So if you want your guy, it's great to want your guy in there. Fine. But then you also need to hold them accountable. You need to be like, all right, what are you doing for me right now? If you're not, that's like the whole conversation. I don't even want to derail with the whole groceries and the burritos thing that we talked about last week, where now they're gaslighting to people like, oh, the burritos are expensive. You just don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to cook properly. Look, I made 20 burritos for $20. Why can't you do that? You can if you just do rice and beans. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. You got to do rice and beans, and you're getting a low quality tortilla. But anyways, let's continue on. Yeah. So if it's not the 30, so like obviously at this point, the 30-06, there's not a whole lot of like evidence that would support him being shot by a 30-06. I know they're saying, okay, there could be anomalies. You never know if a bullet, once you get hit by a bullet, you never know. But certainly more evidence than not that it was not a 30-06, right? I think if you present the evidence on both sides, let's say Candace and Andrew are going at this tomorrow, like there's certainly, at least to me, way more evidence that it was not a 30-06 versus it being a 30-06. Well, something that I found interesting recently was a neurologist's point of view. And one of the reasons they say the 30-06 was stopped was because it obliterated the vertebrae here, right? It was like a direct shot versus off to the side, and it hit all bone. Well, the problem with that is in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk being hit, he tenses his body up like this for about 2.5 seconds. I've clocked it. I've watched it after this neurologist made this point, and Baron Coleman, of course, repeated it. If the spinal cord is severed, which is what the official narrative claim is, within 1/10 of a second, you would lose all muscle connectivity from your brain signaling to the rest of your body, right? So what would they expect to happen? It would just be like Yes, an immediate collapse. And so this was brought up on the Julian Dory podcast to Joseph Scott Morgan, who again is a leader in this space, right? He's on Nancy Grace all the time. He's the one that wrote the manual, as a part of 10 other people on how to do these autopsies. And he said that's a very interesting point. Oh, he hadn't thought of that. He had not thought of that. He was actually stopped in his tracks by that, and he said that was a very interesting point. And you're right. Had it been completely severed, he goes. He said, well, I've dealt with people that off themselves, and they hold on to the gun, right? People would think that the gun drops, and Baron Coleman goes, yes, but that's not the spinal cord. And he goes, you're right. He goes, that is very interesting. If the spinal cord is severed, you would lose all connectivity to the rest of your body immediately. So why is it for sure that his spinal cord was severed? Like why? The official autopsy report that was presented of the medical examiner in the preliminary hearing says that everything in this area, including the spinal cord, was obliterated. Oh. Devastatingly obliterated, that there was nothing left, right? And that's where they found the bullet fragments. That's why the bullet was stopped. This is the whole story. Oh, right. Okay. Because if it didn't hit the spinal cord, it would likely have exited But it's because it hit the spinal cord.
It's because it hit all the vertebrae and the
Yeah.
spinal cord, the whole area direct on, that it was able to be stopped. That's the narrative. And so I can't remember the term that was used, verbatim in the medical examiner's report, but it's something like devastatingly absent,
Yeah.
this area.
So, okay, so then you're with me on that, in terms of thinking about tomorrow. Like, I think if they discuss, I assume they will discuss the 30-06, I think there'll be much more evidence on Candace's side.
I mean, look, for me, anything this guy says, I'm going to throw out.
Okay, but
I know. I'm just
saying.
saying he bugs me so much. But yeah, I do think that nobody knows what happened, right? Everybody is guessing.
Right.
But
we're trying to scientifically assess what we see, right? It's like, okay,
exactly.
That's what
And
you're
some of
talking
the
about. It's like what
times-
happens to the human body if this happens.
right. And some of the time you can't say this is what happened, but you can say this is what didn't happen based on the forensics. And I think that she will have a lot to go off of with this is why we can rule out that it was a 30-06.
It seems, well, not according to Joe Rogan. He's like, well, it's definitely possible.
And I've never even shot a gun other than like an airsoft gun. But from what I understand, the type of bullet, they're talking about the soft tip, it is made to not fragment. So that's what I've heard from all these hunters. So it's even less likely, right? There's like different, anyways.
So then, okay, so
they're going
then
to bring up all this stuff tomorrow.
Then that means that so I'm not on the exploding mic, but you're on the exploding mic theory. Or do you think it's more likely exploding mic than not exploding mic? Where are you on that? We don't know for sure. I'm saying, percentages.
Well, the thing that was interesting that they were discussing is that the body, anything on the body of Charlie Kirk's would be super important evidence. Specifically that Freedom shirt. So it would be very easy to prove if it was a 30-06 because you would immediately take that shirt and you would dissect it into segments, into like grids, and you would give it immediately to the ATF. And you would say, does quadrant 1A have remnants of a 30-06 or of an exploding mic, right? You could do both. And so, obviously Brian Harple went on the Sean Ryan podcast, and maybe we should play that clip now.
Is it the one where he says he cut open the shirt?
Yes.
Which is a little bit bizarre, right? That he would be the one cutting open the shirt. Like, that's not his expertise.
Let's just play the clip really quick because he's, people forget this because this interview was pretty early on after,
yeah.
and I think now people are going back and they're going, oh my gosh, what did he say? Hopefully this was a screen recording, so we'll see if I got this good, but here we go.
The door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney, and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white Freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him so that I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them on drugs and defibrillator.
Well, didn't this guy lie about drones? Like, he said there were no drones, but there were actually drones, which I think once you get caught in a little bit of a lie there, you didn't have to really scrutinize what else he's saying. Like, did that really happen?
Well, there's a lot that he's been caught, lying or basically contradicting other TPUSA individuals like Frank Turek, right? They didn't get their story straight, I think, is how he gets caught in a, quote, lie, and then they come out and they say, well, this is what we meant. We flew the drones earlier, but they weren't flying during the, right? But with this specific incident with the shirt, that's how you would prove if it was a 30-06, right? Scientifically. Or if it was an exploding mic. Or if it was something else. You would have the remnants on the shirt, whether it was cut or not.
Well, that was my thing with the microphone theory, is that you would see explosive remnants on the shirt. Like you should be able to test that shirt and be like, yeah, there's explosives.
Well,
on
and
here.
here's the other thing. Produce the Rode mic. Produce the wireless mic. If it wasn't an exploding mic, where is it? And now we're getting into my slideshow and everything. But the Rode mic was never admitted into evidence or obtained by police. And the other microphone that was there, the handheld mic that Charlie Kirk had, was given to Erica Kirk, and they put it in a glass case and they're taking it on tour. That should be evidence. You could also be able to see on that mic if there was remnants of an explosion, if there was something else, 30-06, whatever, fragmentation on it, whatever it may be. The way the blood splatter would help prove these different things. So you look back at these interviews and you wonder, are they just purposely telling these stories so that they can have a narrative for why the evidence that would prove it's a 30-06 is no longer available?
Or disprove. Well, okay,
Disprove.
so the microphone thing, you would definitely have evidence of this, and I'm just wondering why the defense has. Is it just because this seems to be really far-fetched, right? Because the microphone theory is essentially like kind of drawn from the Israeli-Lebanon pager attacks, that they could rig these devices that are very small with these explosives and have it explode, and they've also been shown to do that. So I don't know if you want to hear more of Andrew Wilson giving his take on the microphone theory, or are you going to go through your thing? What do you want to do here?
Well, I just want to also, while we're on this important component of being able to prove if it was a 30-06, because that's what Andrew Wilson's talking about. He's saying it was, I can prove it because, these guns can be stopped.
Well, he's not for sure saying, I know for a fact that it was. He's saying that it's very possible that it's not, you shouldn't eliminate that. Because a lot of people like we're more or less kind of eliminating that from the possibility, because you're saying for a variety of reasons. He's saying, no, we can't take that off the table.
And fine, I'm not taking it off the table. I just find it very odd that all of the different elements that you would need to forensically prove that it was a 30-06 are missing. They paved over UVU
Yeah.
right immediately after. There's no Freedom shirt as far as we know. Now, the Freedom shirt could have been admitted into evidence, and because we haven't gone to trial yet, it was just the preliminary hearing, they're holding that, but we don't know. The Rode wireless mic has not been admitted into evidence. The handheld mic is on tour with Erica Kirk, and the other thing that is super odd is the necklace that he was wearing, the cross necklace that he was wearing, that looked like it broke apart in the sternum area, which is why a lot of people believe this might have been some sort of an explosion, right? Or an exploding mic, is because why would a necklace break apart down here if you're shot in the neck? Also, you would have been able to see if the chain was hit here and it exploded. But either way, that necklace, guess where that necklace is?
Well, yeah, I know that it's with Erica.
It's with Erica. Frank Turek said that miraculously, after they transported Charlie Kirk to the hospital, the necklace was laying across his computer bag in the SUV. Police are all around. You are trained, right? You're trained to be a security. At this point, they say we don't know if Charlie was alive or dead, right? It took an hour after to rule it, although I think anybody with a brain can see he was probably immediately dead on impact with that wound. They don't admit it into evidence either. They give the necklace to Erica Kirk, who then repairs the necklace. And those are the pictures you see of her out the window holding the rosary. She repaired the necklace and she's taking that. They also got rid of the chair that Charlie Kirk was sitting on. All of these things would be able to prove, for one, the height of the chair where Charlie was sitting. You'd be able to prove based on the wound if it was shot at an angle on the Losi Center from 140 yards away. So they've gotten rid of all of the evidence to prove this 30-06 theory.
They've gotten rid of, prove
so
the 30.
think.
Well, so I think they've gotten rid of a lot of evidence that would help investigate other theories that are not the 30-06 theory, right? Because they tampered with so much of the evidence, you're not able to test for, let's say, explosive residue on any of these things because they're not in evidence. They don't have them anymore. It's been tainted. It's been cleaned. Whatever it is, paved over.
But
disappeared.
How convenient.
Well, that's a fair point. I think that, as someone who has very little trust of the official government sources and especially Kash Patel in this situation, you would say, well, this looks like some funny business has happened.
Also, when you listen to Brian Harple, right, and he says, we took Charlie to the emergency. You're placing him on the gurney. You know how protocol in hospitals work. They're very strict. Nobody's placing somebody on a gurney. Once you get there, they go, thank you, right? Because they could get sued. They then take over. The idea that they placed him on the gurney, then he's jumping on top of him. He said, he straddled Charlie Kirk, cut his shirt off. And then, these surgeons at this point would be in the area. You know how these surgeons are. The surgeons are like, a lot of surgeons have God complexes, right? They know everything. You want a surgeon to, right? You don't want to get your heart operated on by some guy that's like, well, we don't know if we're going to be able to save you. You kind of want a surgeon to be like, I have this. I'm the best in my field, da-da-da. The idea that, Brian Harple is in there and the surgeon's just like, go ahead. No, those surgeons are like, move my area. Get out. So I don't know. It's just, if it was one thing like this, we only got 4 of the 7 fragments. I hopped on him and I gave him, I cut his shirt off so they could give him drugs into defibrillator. He's dead on arrival, let's be honest. I mean, the way they were carrying him to the SUV, they sold the SUV in a car auction. They stripped the floors. Yeah. There's glass on the thing. I mean, it's just one thing after another. If it was one thing, it'd be believable. But it's like the chair, the microphones, the shirt, the necklace, the hospital, the drones, the army crawl on the roof. We assembled the gun. We reassembled the gun. We had more outfit changes than a bride on her wedding day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, let's play a little fun clip here of Joe Rogan back a few months ago when he was talking to Theo. Theo brought up the exploding microphone theory with Joe and how it was tied to that explosive factory in Tennessee, right? That's the theory, right? The exploding mic theory is that they had this Rode microphone.
Yes.
And they put these, like, what was it, PETN that was made at this factory in Tennessee that just self-combusted a few weeks after the assassination, or a few months. I don't know the exact timeline.
It's a few weeks.
But basically the conspiracy theorists are saying that this is where they got that explosive from to put in the Rode microphone. So,
my biggest ever video.
Yeah. Your 20 mil.
This theory.
So it should go to the exact timestamp of, yeah, there you go.
There was
Martin Luther said, I want to make Moses so German that no one would suspect he was a Jew. Now that can sound...
It was like the facility in Tennessee where they bought the whatever the mic thing was, allegedly, that place then got completely obliterated. 16 people died.
What?
If you can bring that
where they made the microphones?
Where they made the lapel mic that he was wearing. This is this is probably a conspiracy thing or something.
Where'd you get this? TikTok?
This is a conspiracy theory. It's something that's absolutely true.
I haven't heard that one at all.
I think James Lee said.
But I'm trying to stay away from this shit. That's
agree.
why I'm not. That's why I don't know.
I agree. It's just I think it. I don't know. It's just a tough...
So my point about the round is it's a large round, and it seems like it would have done more damage. And this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of many experts.
Yeah.
I agree with their opinion. It's not uniquely my opinion. I saw it, and I'm like, oh, my God, he got shot. And then I heard it was a 30-06, and I was like,
That's interesting.
It's a little odd.
If you had to get shot by, what would you like to get? If you had to get shot?
You want to get killed, right? You don't want to get...
I don't. Shoot me with a 22.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd take a 22, but a 22 kills people.
Where would you take it at?
Take it in the shoulder, I guess.
Fuck yeah. Dude.
No, you don't want to get shot, period.
I know, I agree, Joe, but I'm just saying, if you had to get shot, how do you, because here's
butt
the thing.
cheek, 22, and tighten up.
Hell no.
Take it in the butt cheek. Bang.
I agree, shoulder.
I don't know. Not good.
But there's going to be
no bullet is good to take. But the point is that seemed like not enough damage for that kind of round. But I might be wrong. Again, I might be wrong in that bullets
It's okay
do
if you're
weird
wrong.
things. If it hit the spine and it blew apart, but I just feel like you would find a lot of it in there.
Dude,
especially if there's no exit wound. Like, how come you can't find?
The whole thing's bizarre, dude. Do you see the part, Jamie, that I'm talking about where that thing blew up?
Oh, yeah, but I'm trying to find a good explanation. Of
Okay, understood. And there may not be one. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Because I know I brought it up yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, just like I don't know. I think I'm just scared, and it's like, yeah, what do you?
There it is.
I just don't know
18
yet.
people unaccounted for after deadly explosion rocks Tennessee plant. First responders
funny.
rushed to Accurate Energetic Systems. That sounds like a CIA operation.
Mm-hmm.
A facility on the line of Humphreys and Hickman counties that processes ammunition and explosives. But is this the place that made the microphones?
So the conspiracy says that the microphone was taken to this place to be converted into like an explosion device.
Somebody found an invoice from it. That's what it was. That was the piece of information that was going around.
Who found that? Is that James Lee found that?
Not sure.
See if you can find what James Lee has to say. He's my number one source of information.
That's what I heard, dude. I got to podcast with him.
Did you?
I got to meet him, dude.
Is he cool?
He's a nice guy, bro. He's fun. Yeah, he's like, his story's wild because he was working as a consultant for one of the big pharmaceutical companies, like one of the big ones that we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just couldn't say the name, but he could say it, but he never said it.
Right.
And then he was in a Zoom one time, and they're like, okay, we still have a lot of stockpile from the first vaccination. And that's when he said they started suggesting, allegedly, that people should then get a second vaccination because they had this first, they still had more of the original vaccine. So it was just like a thing. Well, we have more of it. Let's sell it back to him. And that's why.
And so he started getting like very skeptical.
So he started really getting skeptical, and then he got out of it, and he said he just wants to like expose things that he feels like are not real.
Right.
Or true.
You think he might be CIA? Dun dun dun. You always gotta worry.
I don't know.
You gotta wonder.
People thought Sean Ryan
I'm
was
getting-
cool.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
That is
I'm getting
hilarious.
accused of being CIA.
I mean, first of all, that clip is so great.
I never seen that before yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, because I was doing research on this.
I love it. I mean, Theo's the best. And Joe, this is the interview, isn't it? Where Joe was like so rude to him.
Yeah.
That's why you never saw it, because we were all focused on that one clip.
Yeah.
No, I love. He's like, he's a nice guy. You know.
Joe's like, you think he could be CIA?
Joe's saying that to try and deflect.
Yeah, maybe. Right. Although, okay, so to be fair, I never looked into the microphone theory.
It was Ian Carroll.
It was Ian Carroll that did that, or Baron Coleman to a large degree as well.
I thought Ian Carroll broke the explosive story.
No, Baron Coleman did.
Oh, he did.
Yes, because I remember there was a reaction video that Ian did. He was like, I first didn't buy the microphone theory. Now that I listened to Baron Coleman's breakdown, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no. And you know, actually the person that originally came up with the exploding mic theory is Stu Peters. Like,
I thought it was John Bray, this guy named John Bray.
maybe, but Stu Peters was in there. We have 2 super chats I want to read really quick. Thank you so much. Caitlin Reed, 5239. Keep it up. Support the duo. Love Dani's armband. Thank you so much.
Which
I
armband?
appreciate it. I have 2. I don't know if you're talking about the gold one here or this one that I took off because it cuts me when I wear the jean jacket, but I appreciate it. And, you know, they were saying like, oh, if you get shot, you could get shot anywhere. And he said shoulder. We did a podcast with Maverick Bailey. I wore the armband today to show the circumference that my arm is not that big, because he posted a picture of us. And I texted you and I go, my God, my arm looks like the size of a medieval times turkey leg. This picture he posted, you guys, my arm looked this freaking big. I'm not kidding.
I didn't get a close look.
No,
I
you
didn't.
said.
No.
Even you said, anyways, I would want to get shot in that part of my arm. Just blow it off.
No. That I didn't get a close. I wasn't really paying attention because you get drawn to the faces. You know, I'm not paying attention to what your
You
arm
couldn't
was.
even make it to the face. It looked like I had elephantitis of the upper arm. It was
But
unbelievable.
I don't have his number, so I would have reached out and said, can you send me that photo because I want it. Not for any particular reason, but it was only posted as a story, so I
CIA.
can't get it anymore. Well, I was part of the GATE program. Now that it all comes
Look.
together.
I'm the one. Everybody thinks, you know, I'm infiltrating. So I'm being infiltrated over here.
Actually, that would have been a great, if I had known this clip existed, that would have been a great one to cut together with that CIA GATE clip that we had with Maverick.
We
That
should
would
have.
have been funny.
That would have been good. But no, and look, under certain different circumstances, I would have said, Maverick, buddy, we got to take that picture down. But, you know, we just met. We're friendly. You know, I'm trying not to be so vain. But it was like, Fat Albert in the house. Thank you so much for the chat. We've got one more here. Serious bots here. You both are great. Oh, thank you so much. I haven't even seen the bots today.
Well, I mean, they say 50 to 60% of the things that you see online, the comments are all bots. So
Wow.
just keep that in mind. If you're arguing with somebody online, you probably just shouldn't do it. It is unless you're getting some kind of emotional excitement from it or whatever, like it's really gassing you up and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get, but if you're like getting frustrated, like arguing back with this guy who's just, they're just not getting it, they're probably not getting it on purpose.
Well, it's funny. I never really respond in our YouTube comments, but I did the other day because someone was like, Dani's too loud and talks too much, but they spelled it T-O, and I just responded asterisk T-O-O. Like, if you're going to try to diss me, at least get your grammar right and your spelling. All right.
So microphone theory. So my issue with, maybe because the shirt is missing, but I have never seen, because I watched the exploding pagers, a number of those clips in Israel or Lebanon, and there's usually like some kind of rip it like it explodes.
Yeah.
And depending on where it is, like one I saw it explode like in a bag, and the bag kind of just,
Yeah.
Other ones like somebody's head basically got blown off.
Yeah.
We can't show it. Obviously, it was blurred out, but like the assumption that I see it is that somebody's head got blown off basically, and so. With the Charlie Kirk thing, I'm like, well, there should be some residue. There's something on the shirt that would point to the mic exploding. Otherwise, I see it as a gunshot.
Yes. So the way I look at it is we don't know shit about shit. And
Fair enough.
There is a lot, I would imagine, of weapons out there that exist in 2026 that the public has no information on, right?
Sure. Yeah,
We
you're
were
talking about all the
told
CIA
during-
guns and all this, like,
Well,
even heart attack
earlier
gun,
this
all this stuff.
year in Venezuela, it was a direct energy weapon. You had some of the scientists that were oft, talking on live that, they knew they were using direct energy weapons to kind of like fry their hands through the windows. And people say, these people were paranoid or this and that. But, they admitted to a heart attack gun in the 1960s, the CIA. They'd put a poisonous, shellfish component on it. They'd shoot someone like they're tranquilizing an elephant. Next thing you know, they have a heart attack. We know that they have all sorts of different things. So, Israel was very open and public and proud about the Lebanon pagers and what they did there. And I agree that type of an exploding mic situation does not match what happened in Lebanon. But I think the important piece of information there is that there's a lot of skepticism around, could Israel have been involved because of the Google searches, because of Charlie changing his stance on Israel and his support for Israel. And then you have this exploding mic thing where it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't the same type of weapon, but we know they've been able to put explosives in different electronics like a pager, which happens to be the same size as like a wireless Rode mic. Why wouldn't they be able to do something like this where it detonates on you like a bullet?
Well, you can. I mean, I think people are
Where
saying
it's
it's
not
possible.
an explosion, but it's
what
more
about
like
the
a
gun?
shot.
But what about the gun, like the huge neck wound?
I'm saying, is it possible that it was like a gun, the Rode mic, that shot him? Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying, but then I would see a visual piercing of the shirt, right? It would come from inside the shirt because the microphone is on the inside of the shirt, and it would pierce this and hit the neck.
Have you seen when they slow down the video, there's that black dot right here, and then it moves to his neck? Almost like if you had a laser on somebody and you move the laser. Have you seen that video? And people are like, why is there that black dot on his shirt? And then it goes, doot, and then it hits. Look.
I don't know. I don't know that.
And more of
particular
this
version,
footage, I'll try to find it. I don't know if we can play it. No. Actually, probably not.
Yeah.
But people in the chat, let me know if you know what I'm talking about. You can go on an X and look this up. But people have slowed it down, and it's like, if you were pointing a laser and you moved it, who knows if it's an exploding mic. But then you should produce the mic.
So
you should produce the shirt. You should give
mic.
all of that evidence to the ATF and have them do that forensic work.
Correct, but the problem is, so the question is, are they withholding it, or was it never asked for, this evidence? It was so far-fetched, this
It
theory,
is
that they just never...
protocol. It doesn't matter. It is protocol. You are trained, even as somebody that's going into the police academy, even if you're the lowest level cadet guy, you know, secure the crime scene. Everything here goes, right? Instead, you have people taking SD cards, climbing on the chair that he was on and taking SD cards out of the cameras. Something very bizarre was going on here. It does feel like it was an operation of sorts when you look at all of these different characters and how they may or may not have played a role.
Yes. I think at least I wouldn't put it past people to have an operation, at least this government to do an operation of this sort. It's been done in the past. And the question now is, how high does this cover-up go? And what I say about that is because wouldn't the defense bring some of this up? Like, why hasn't the defense brought up any of this stuff? That's my big question. Is like if it was an exploding mic, the defense would have been like, "It's an exploding mic, guys. Let's drop this case."
Well, I think that just like the
Or are they in on it too? That's my question. Is like, is the defense also now in on it?
Who knows? But I think that we have to remember that they only went over the preliminary hearing, and like Candace has been holding on to information, the Freedom shirt could exist in evidence. They could have clocked that in evidence. We don't know where the shirt is right now because we haven't gone to trial. So the defense isn't going to lay their case out there in the preliminary hearing. They're trying to see if the judge is going to even say this is going to go to trial, which, by the way, I will just say, I know a judge, and
she knows a guy.
I know, look, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of guys. I know a lot of girls. I know a lot of furries. Male furries,
you do not
female
know a lot
furries.
Of furries. That is a lie. How many furries do you know?
Many.
Okay. And under what context? You might want to talk about that a little bit too, right?
What?
How do you know these furries?
Well, look, I've got one coming in my house eating an apple every night. I've got a rodent problem. Anyways, let me get back to this. This individual who is, let's just say, professionally at the top, said it's very, very odd that this judge is taking a month to decide if this goes to trial. That is very odd. That,
oh, really?
Yes.
It's this, because it was a month. He's like, hey, I'm going to decide on September, blah, blah, blah date.
That is very weird. That is very odd. And this is
why is it odd?
And by the way, this is someone who believes that Tyler Robinson did it with a 30-06.
Okay.
That the traditional way that this would work is you hear the preliminary hearing and you make a decision in a week.
Oh.
That was the thing that raised alarm bells for this individual. Why are they waiting that long? So, anyways, I heard this, secondhand, but the information was presented to me, and specifically this individual that I know, I thought it was interesting that they had that feedback. But yeah, I've got three dogs. I've got a beagle, a puggle, and a mutt. So I have a lot of furries that I know.
Interesting. Okay, so it says a judge typically makes the decision to send a case to trial immediately at the end of the preliminary hearing or within a few days if they request written briefs. And
yes.
then after you've decided, then it would take months to actually go to trial.
Yes, but the fact that this judge is taking a month to even decide if it's going to go to trial is very weird. That usually, like you just read, it's usually immediate, or if you want written briefings, maybe a few days. Right? These people in the legal community, you can't even believe the stuff how much stuff they read. But anyways, the who knows if the defense is going to be questioning all this stuff. In fact, there were a lot of people, because documentation came out yesterday where the defense was saying, we want to rule out the death penalty. And you had the Jack Posey, what's his name? Jack Posobiec, all the Brandon Tatum people, they're all saying, the defense is even saying he's guilty. And that's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, the defense is not, I read through that, the defense isn't saying he's guilty. The defense is saying that you should remove the death penalty because you don't even have enough evidence to get to that stage. Like the evidence that they presented during the preliminary hearing is not enough to justify a death penalty. I think that was what the document said.
Right, exactly. So here's someone, Viva Frey, right? This is like one of the Viva
Frey is also a lawyer by trade.
either way, is this individual not always kind of on the Brandon Tatum, Jack?
He is, but he doesn't seem as in the take. Like he's
as bought and paid for.
Yeah, he seems like he's like thinking about things and he's presenting. At least from what I've read of his stuff online, he's like, I'm just looking at it objectively as, you know, a litigator. Like, this is what I think.
Look, you're CIA. Nobody knows who's to trust. Okay? This guy, you know, anyways, it was a campaign, right?
Yeah.
It's been a campaign. Yesterday morning, everybody's saying, oh, Candace has nothing to say. So you have these people saying, you know, one thing. And then you have Baron Coleman did a live last night. And he's like, he's also a litigator. He goes, that's not what they're saying. They're just saying you have to take death penalty off because the prosecution didn't prove X, Y, and Z. So anyways, there's all this stuff that's going on back and forth. Who knows what's going to even happen with this situation, but you can take the notes off.
I think it's a very interesting, at least the point that you brought up about, I'm thinking about it more with why is he waiting so long? I'm trying to think of reasons why he would wait.
They got to come up with a freaking freedom shirt.
Is it because there's like so much evidence or whatever, or... You know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's so much evidence. You're only going off of what they presented in that week.
Right, but then is he being delayed because either the prosecution side or the defense side is like, oh, we need to enter more.
You can't. It's what happened in that week. That's what he's going off of. That's why it's odd. There's so many odd things about this
or is
case.
it a timing? Could it be a timing situation where now we're nearing that 1-year anniversary of the trial? Now it could be a potential media spectacle versus...
Look, I'm just telling you, someone that writes books that train lawyers in law school said very odd, and he believes he was killed with a .30-06 by Tyler Robinson. But this specific situation, he says, is very, very odd.
Okay, so here's what Grok said. Can I just read what Grok says real quick?
Let's not listen to the expert. Let's listen to Grok. Please go ahead.
Well, it says... Grok says, some legal observers have called a multi-month wait after a preliminary hearing highly unusual or unprecedented, as judges often decide probable cause cases very quickly from the bench that day, shortly thereafter. Here, the high-profile nature, capital stakes, volume of evidence, media issues, and prior defense motions on hearsay, cameras, discovery, sanctions, etc. contribute to a more deliberate pace.
Whatever. It is what it is. We got another super chat. Sweet Sassy Belle again. Thank you so much. I was in Gate. You could have gone to school with this individual. You guys could have, who knows, been doing Morse code together. I was in Gate, taught me how to shoot a rifle, hypnosis, and how to develop black and white photography. Wow. That's really interesting. But this is my new favorite person because I redeemed myself.
I don't remember doing any of this stuff. I don't remember much.
You drank the pink drink.
Maybe. I don't remember much of anything we did. I played the Oregon Trail. I played a lot of Oregon Trail.
Oh my God, I loved Oregon Trail. I loved Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I don't remember doing much other than in like second grade, third grade, like other than playing Oregon Trail. I spent a lot of hours at school playing Oregon Trail, just to put it that way.
I loved Oregon Trail. Well, I think it's funny too, like our generation, you know, somebody said with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, someone did the meme like, we played these games, and it showed a thing, I might have said this on last episode, where it says, what's not right in this picture?
Yeah.
We used to play those all the time. Like the clock says, you know, there's 2 shorthands or whatever. It's like, that's what this Charlie Kirk case is.
Yes.
We're playing a big version of this, and I spy somebody on the roof doing army crawl maneuvers.
So then Israel. Do you want to talk about Israel a little bit, or are we done with the...
Well, no, on the Israel topic, I was actually going to say earlier, Benjamin Netanyahu also came out and made a statement before President Trump.
That's, a lot of people found that to be kind of weird, how on the pulse he was.
And then they painted a mural of him in Israel.
Yeah, I did ask. I was like, how long does it take to paint a mural like this? They said it takes a few days at the very least. And it was the very next day.
Well, you know what you should do? You should Grok it, because Grok might have a different timeline for you because of the evidence, the paints and stuff.
No, I think that Grok it was fair. It was saying that this is how it usually happens, but in this case, there's some other things going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
They should have. I mean, if I was TPUSA, I would explain this to people, right? It seems like everything they explain to people makes things worse. right? Everything they talk about now, they're getting lambasted because they did that thing where they said it was 4K footage. You could see Tyler Robinson's face clear as the noonday sun, and then it doesn't seem like that footage is that clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything about it, including the fact, I don't know if you know this about Andrew Wilson. Did you know he's a Freemason?
Well, he, according to himself, yeah.
Look at this. What was I I wasn't bragging, but I was basically saying, like, I'm a very courteous person. You were talking about, could we interview this very liberal person? How would I act? I'm like, I'm always nice to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I am. Like, I don't care.
Unless they start talking about Anthony Fauci, you're gonna.
I'd still be nice, but I'd be like, look, you know, I'm a pureblood. You're not. Like, what do you want to say? No, but look, and this, of course, is a Candace tweet. This guy is so annoying. Look at him with his cigarette. He thinks he's so cool. But this is him claiming he's a Freemason. I think we should maybe watch this just to get a little bit more background on who Candace is going to be going against tomorrow.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, only for the purposes of trying to explain to you that I have some intricate knowledge in some of the things that Woodcoff has lied about, chiefly his book, The Masons and Their Lies. I was a Freemason, Master Mason. I don't remember exactly how many years. I think 3 or 4 years. Okay, I still have all of my dues cards. I still have the Lodge Bible that was dedicated to me by everybody in the lodge. Okay, I was a Freemason myself. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, only for the purposes of trying to.
I think this guy is going to go on tomorrow, and no matter what happens, he's going to say he won. He's going to say I crushed Candace.
I mean, it won't matter because this is going to be watched by millions and millions. I think initially even. I think this is going to be one of those moments in time where people are tuning into this.
Which makes it, again, seem like a theatrical performance.
100%.
We'll just put it that way.
Look at, like I said, I'm a Candace stan. I'm going for Candace, but it does feel like theater. And
it's like, what else are they going to do tomorrow to distract? Because Friday...
Or what's going to happen?
Well, not even related to this. Friday is when a lot of shit goes down. Typically.
Always.
Right? This is when crazy shit happens because the market's closed. When the market closes, crazy shit happens. So it's like we're all watching this debate that we all pretty much know what's going to happen, right? Like
maybe not. I mean, we'll
I
see.
think unless he has some extra evidence up his sleeve, I know he hasn't presented much of himself other than... Yeah, things like this happen. Like if you look at the history of this happens, right?
He can, yes.
That's basically what his evidence is. So I can really see this going only one way. But then it's like, while we're watching that, what else is going on in the world?
Well, and you said, he's going to say no matter what that he wins, but it won't matter because it's going to be the internet deciding, right? I hope he's happy that he became famous because we'll see what happens. He could surprise all of us, right? He could surprise everybody like the Knicks when we lost and the Spurs lost, right? I'm wearing my jersey, da-da-da. Who knows what's going to happen? But my guess is that Candace is going to have a lot of clippable moments, and whether people watch it or not, this guy is going to be deemed the loser of the debate.
All right, well, let's hear him talk about the Israel thing. I do want to dive into that a little bit.
And this might be why he's already lost.
And here we go.
Someone else killed him? Do you think there's any possibility that he was assassinated by Israel?
I've never. Well, when we're talking about possibility, almost anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
But there's not good evidence to support it, and there's probably pretty good evidence not to. So for instance, the guy was still very much of a pro-Israel guy, even up to death. It is true that he was fighting with donors about the cause and this.
But if he could have been a substantial roadblock to the Iraq War. Iran war, rather. Mm-hmm. If he was a substantial roadblock, I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility that a nation state would take a guy like that out.
They didn't take out Fuentes. They didn't take out Owens. They didn't take out Ian Carroll. They didn't take out any of these other huge personalities who were roadblocks to the way.
I think Charlie was very different. Carroll, or excuse me, Fuentes is more easy to dismiss because he said so many wild things, shit posting. He said so many crazy things that I think he is almost embodying, in their eyes, like the crazy anti-Semite. Whereas Charlie was not an anti-Semite, was much more reasonable, and if he was going against Israel, it could be a real problem. I also think that he had a tremendous amount of influence on the president. He had his ear. You know, I think the president respected him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The interesting part, though, if you look at the history there, Fuentes conducted his Graper War against TPUSA and Charlie Kirk because of the pro-Israel stance and because of his pro-homosexual stance, his like big tent Republicanism, he called it. Yeah. So they had the pro stances for these things. And what's interesting about all of it, if you follow the details of it up until Kirk's death, TPUSA actually moved a lot more towards the Groyper-Fuentes position than they moved towards the kind of pro-Israel, this type of position. Meaning a lot of the ideology that I think Kirk was changing on came from these various outside influences. And so if that's the case, why wouldn't you just curtail those outside influences and then you can keep Kirk as the mouthpiece, right?
No, that's the exact opposite logic.
Exactly.
It's like he is the central figure that has the direct line into the White House. He's the most important one to take out versus he already explained. Fuentes, or Rogan explained, Fuentes is fringe. He could be easily dismissed. Charlie Kirk cannot be easily dismissed.
And look, people can say the president's ear, the this, the that. The reason Charlie Kirk was different than all of the people he named, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, Charlie Kirk was going on tour for years and years around to college campuses, and he started a movement. Charlie Kirk started a movement where people were getting out of their house, they were getting off of their cell phones, which is very dangerous because we know that the government uses these devices to capture us, control us, keep us hooked in with different algorithms, whatever way that they want to. Charlie Kirk was saying, hey, you and I think very differently. Let's have a conversation about it. If you watch Nick Fuentes' show and someone peeps in with a different opinion, he's not there to have the conversation. He's like, you moron. Yeah. He's shaming them the whole entire time. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was doing what the deep state and the establishment never wants. Yeah. And he was uniting people and bringing people together. And people were coming out and voting. He was bringing out the young vote. Very dangerous. And
so I feel like he almost contradicted himself in this.
He thinks he's making a point, but he's making a point for the other side, in my opinion. And
he's like, why wouldn't you cut off those? Because those are not important. Those are the side characters that could be dismissed without killing them.
Yeah.
Right? You would kill the one that you can't dismiss.
Right. And that has the most influence. Right. And that has the young people because if Nick Fuentes is poisoning that Zionist well, Charlie Kirk it'd be over, right? But we've talked about this before. I think this whole thing is backfired. Whether or not Israel did it, people don't trust Israel anymore. And, and he's a big part of it. But Joe Rogan brought up the Iran war part. And how interesting is it that he gets killed and then we go to a war with Iran? Almost immediately after.
Right. And there's no longer the roadblock.
It's
all in. And I will say this too, in terms of like, they were like, why didn't they kill Candace or Tucker or whatever? Didn't they get like threats on the same day? Immediately they're like, hey, you guys got to chill because you may be targeted as well. If it was a lone gunman, why would they be saying this? It was like the security team of Charlie Kirk was saying that, this could be a wide
I think
attack.
Andrew Colvett early on had called Candace and said it was supposed to be you.
Well, that's okay. So then
wasn't Candace's like early shows?
Yeah. So something like, so then that would prove then it's just not just Tyler Robinson, lone gunman, hating Charlie Kirk. Now it seems like a wide conspiracy to take out figures that are voicing certain opinions.
100%. And look, there's a very
what?
We're not covering this today, but there's the content creator Joe Fels, who was reading old ancient Bibles. I guess they're not that ancient. They're from the 1800s, but they're old Bibles that were showing Palestine as the Holy Land. And then after 1812 or 1874, I can't remember which date, They changed all the prints of these Bibles. He was also showing people how you could start to have free energy and exposing all these different things. There is a video.
Why is it always when people start talking about free energy? I'm never going to get into free energy because I want to stay alive for a little bit longer. I don't
every
know what
time.
that is.
But we're not going to
Every
talk about
time.
him today. But I just want to do this quick video of him.
But we will talk about
of
him
how
right now.
many times
I'm
he
not
said
suicidal
not
and I'm very
suicidal.
healthy.
This is a compilation video, but
It's gonna have
I started posting videos about ancient relics, lost civilizations. What happened? The choppers are back. Those of you who say choppers, we're not circling nature, Jab. This is the second time this chopper has circled me. I could see the big camera pod on the front of it. This is the history of the Jews, 1866. Why is the world so obsessed with the Jews? Sitting in front of me are several centuries of hidden and lost information. I'm going to make a digital library out of everything you see here and some not pictured as well. For the record, are you suicidal? No. No. Are you? No, I'm not suicidal at all. In fact, I've met multiple people on the way and they confirmed I was not suicidal. Do we look suicidal to you? No. Huh? If we die, blame the government.
Absolutely blame the government as well.
We're in great mental health. Great physical health. You see, we're not dying anytime soon. But if we disappear, the government did it. The government finds out about this, they're gonna suicide us, bro.
The message today about Joe, at the very end of it, it said, your pursuit of knowledge has inspired the pursuit in many. Let there
okay, the rest of the video goes on and on in all these different clips where he goes, I'm not suicidal. They didn't know how he died. He's 40 years old. He's been, doing all this thing. He put on a free library with all these ancient books. And it turns out a few days ago, his cause of death was revealed. Hanging.
Okay. What is
Days
that?
after
Days.
he was saying all this non-suicidal stuff. By the way, this is in Costa Rica. He moved out of the country to the middle of the jungle. That's where those helicopters were flying. My point is that they're killing the fringe. They're killing the not fringe. If you are going to make an impact on people with certain subjects like free energy, we know everybody that's, the guy that invented the hydro car, dead, right? That kind of stuff. And then, some of the big players, like Charlie was too influential. It's like a Clinton situation. You don't say I'm not suicidal 400 times and then hang yourself.
Well, so...
And say if I end up dead, it's the government.
Those are the situations where I think, there's layers to take somebody out, right? You could just neutralize them by buying them. You can ostracize them so nobody listens to them. In cases like this, where he seems to have some kind of audience, then you make him look... Basically, you drive him to the point of offing themselves, right? It's not necessarily he was murdered, right? Because a lot of people say he was murdered. But I'm like, he may have actually just killed himself. I'll say this again and again. It's like he may have actually killed himself. But then how do you... Did something happen? Did they inject some kind of thing where it made his brain go crazy that he did that?
He's in the middle of nowhere in Costa Rica, and he's saying days before, I'm not suicidal, it's the government, I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that. So, look, it's like saying Virginia Giuffre, Jeffrey Epstein's very public victim, she just killed herself after being hit by a bus, I mean, look, you can take either side. No, they made her go crazy and she killed herself. Sure, or they killed her.
But the point is she's not here anymore. I guess that's the point to be made, is that...
The point is they're offing people. What's wrong with you? They're killing us. Another super chat. Kimmy Deed It. Thank you so much for the super chat. How many nicotine pouches can Andrew Wilson put in his mouth at once during the debate, taking bets?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in there smoking because Candace is,
pregnant.
5 or 6 months pregnant. Uh-oh, we're losing stuff here. She's pregnant, so she probably won't allow that. So he'll probably be putting in, probably not Alp patches, because Alp is Tucker's brand, probably some other brand.
Who knows?
Well,
Tucker has that clip from the Hunter Biden episode the other day where he goes, I texted both Erica and Candace today. I'm allowed to like whoever I want.
And how do you interpret something like that? Is it just him playing both sides, or?
No, I just feel like, how you still like Erica Kirk?
Well, none of us know Erica Kirk personally. Maybe you call up Carl Radke, your friend Carl.
Please. But there's just something I find interesting about Erica Kirk, and I know the people in the chat will probably, a few of you guys will pop off on this. I know a lot of women, they go, I didn't really know a lot about this, but when I see the clips of her eyes, I get like an icky feeling.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm not going to spend time on
Eric. Okay, so what else? So we covered some of the Israel. I think Israel makes. I mean, the thing about Israel is that they have a motivation to kill almost anybody who speaks out against them because their whole thing is about information control.
Yeah.
So anybody who speaks out is a threat to them, especially someone very influential like him. That could. I mean, they're in an existential fight for their survival right now because if they don't get our support, they will not cease, or they will cease to exist the way they're wanting to exist right now.
Right.
Which is they can't go on these offensive attacks against Lebanon and Iran and Jordan, all the surrounding countries that they're trying to invade, Syria, okay, Iraq. All those, that plan goes away. So they can't exist the same way they're existing now without our help. So anybody who stands in the way of that, they're going to want to take out all these candidates going for office right now, right? For example, in Maine, that guy Graham Plattner, all of a sudden he's about to win, and then sexual assault scandal happens from an ex-girlfriend, never spoke about it. All the texts had been deleted previously. Like she's like, oh, he said this to me. It's like, where are the texts now? Well, I deleted them because it was too traumatic. Yeah, I was like, what? And nobody has any record of anything. And so now he's taken out, no longer in the race. So they have a direct incentive to take anybody out that goes against them because the underlying.
Well, and I think that's a great point. Yeah. It's like, you can't say, oh, they killed Charlie Kirk. And by the way, we don't know that they did. But when you see the concerted effort to take over our politics and control the narrative, it's like, well, you could easily make that conclusion with Charlie Kirk speaking out against them in those early days. And then you do have those tweets like Harrison Smith a month before saying, right? Doesn't it just point blank say Charlie's afraid of his life because he thinks Israel might try to kill him?
Correct.
So, I mean, if nothing would have happened, then nobody would have paid attention to that tweet.
Right. And I think that's because you can't buy Charlie off, right? Because Charlie at that point was sort of rejecting money, or he was at least, he's like, I have a lot of money already, right? I don't need necessarily donations from certain Zionist groups, whether it came directly from Netanyahu or some other side group that they have, some shell company or whatever. He's like, he's trying to do his own thing, right? He was saying, I understand that you guys don't want so-and-so to be at the conference. That's not what we stand for. We're here for open debate. So you could see, like, he's getting harder to control.
And he wasn't just talking about he wasn't just talking about Israel. I was trying to find this tweet that I saved for you, but he was also talking about Epstein a lot at the same time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird overlap. And with no other, I mean, there's no other conclusion that you could draw, right? It's almost like every Zionist is anti-release of Epstein files. They're like, let's move on from this. Why? If Epstein was just a person, he had no ties to the Israeli government, he had no ties to any espionage activity, and he was just a pure criminal, why wouldn't you want to expose it? The only reason why you wouldn't want to expose it is if it leads to other rabbit holes. They're like, okay, he was doing deals on behalf of the Israelis, he was tied into the government, he was doing this, he was doing that. We don't want that to come out because that would certainly make the American people turn on Israel more than they have now. If you're saying this guy, financier, pedophile, all this other stuff, he's also working on behalf of Israel to, corrupt our government. They're like, no, we're done with this. We don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
So why? Yeah. So it's like, why is there this connect? And why is it aligned also to this? It's like, why aren't there any Zionists who have questioned the assassination? Right? Are these not free-thinking people? Right? Because this is a sort of an exercise in freedom of thought to say, do you just believe everything you're told, or do you challenge?
Right. Guarantee you, the unvaxxed 99.9% don't think it was Tyler Robinson with a 30-06. Now, the people that went out and got 5 boosters, they might be on that side. No, I'm just kidding. But I can't remember, so forgive me. I can look it up. But back in like 2014 or 2016, there was this tweet that Charlie had made about someone that was in the Epstein files that was released after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, right? And he said something about this person, and it was like a low-hanging fruit guy, but something about this person, heard you're in the files, right? Well, it turns out that guy was in the files, but nobody knew it. It was like this, almost like a conspiracy theory. Like, what? So there is this thought that, you know, Charlie, like you said, was very tied in with the government. He was friends with Don Jr. Don Jr. was actually a big part of helping TPUSA, crazy enough, and then has just been completely silent.
Right.
Did Charlie actually have inside information about the Epstein files? This is like the other side of the coin, because he had that tweet where he knew something nobody else knew, but then it ended up being true early 2026. And so we know that the files were heavily redacted, and we only got so many of them. So was Charlie a threat to both Iran and possibly some information in the Epstein files that we never got privy to? And if he was alive, they wouldn't be able to hide that information?
Well, I certainly think that if he didn't look at it himself, he probably was told in private conversations, right? You're, like you said, you know a lot of people, you hear things that are off the record, that things that you know, they're like, hey, this is not out in public, but I know of this. He probably had tons of those conversations.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, he overhears one thing. You know, the establishment probably never thought the Epstein files were going to be released, right? They didn't see a guy like Thomas Massie, a constitutionalist, to find a loophole to get him released. So they probably didn't care if Charlie knew a thing or two, right? He's on their team at the time.
Well, Howard Lutnick, the current Commerce Secretary, literally lied multiple times on interviews, high-profile interviews, saying, I saw him once, never saw him again. I was disgusted. And he's photographed on the island in the files, taking his family there. There is correspondence emails between him and Epstein saying, I'm coming over, I'm bringing the kids. It's like such a bold-faced lie. So they must have never thought that would come out.
They were also neighbors. He also worked on the top floor of the Trade Center, and him and his sister just happened not to be there that day. And then, you know, of course, you can link that, too, with weird stuff with Epstein. You know, in the picture of George W. Bush with the Jenga towers. It goes on and on. It's like the biggest rabbit hole of all time. We have another super chat. Thank you guys so much. Daniel Day is back.
Let's go.
Daniel Day 36. I've seen the video of the bullet hitting CK. Have you seen the video? Why is that 241 there? I can't see it. Oh, about a 20-degree angle of the bullet, and could the shooter be in an Egyptian plane? Interesting. And, you know, that's another thing that kind of fell off a little bit, that some people like Stu Peters are now re-bringing up information with Fort Huachuca, however you say it. And
well, the Egyptian plane thing, the implication of those, they're not really Egyptian, so to speak. Oops, that's the wrong thing. The Egyptian plane was not Egyptian. There are past historical examples of Israel using Egyptian tail numbers to disguise their espionage activities.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, is that I think that was what Candace was trying to say in the Egyptian shot without really saying that exact thing.
Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be interesting tomorrow what comes out.
Yeah. So what else do we have? Do you want to go through any of your canvas or whatnot? I'm trying to see.
Oh, what happened to this clip? How'd this get deleted?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. What was it?
You're never going to. Oh, now what I do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I opened another thing.
What was that clip? There's a couple, So tomorrow's gonna be very interesting. There's also the maroon shirts. Like we don't know. The thing is, like, all this stuff is speculation. We don't know. I would treat it as a media spectacle of like, all right, let's see two sides debate. Then we're gonna have to wait for the trial. That's where really the rubber will meet the road.
We don't know if the judge is gonna go to trial at this point.
I think it will go to trial 100%. I think they will definitely convict. Tyler Robinson will be convicted. I mean, I'll just say that now. He's definitely gonna be convicted. Okay, whether or not he did it, I don't know. But he will be convicted.
What was so interesting in that Julian Dory podcast with Baron Coleman versus, Joseph Scott Morgan, the forensic guy, is if there is the evidence, all of that evidence missing, because again, we don't know, right? Because it hasn't gone to trial. If that Freedom shirt is gone, if the chair is gone, if they don't produce the wireless Rode mic, right? We know the other mic and the necklace are with Erica. It's going to be interesting because it has to be 12 people, not one out of the 12 jurors, to say beyond reasonable doubt. Right? And a point that I almost felt like Today Junior from the Adam Sandler movie. A point that Baron Coleman brought up is like, you're in rural Utah. A lot of these people have shot a 30-06. You know, you're not in New York City. So,
well, there's going to be a jury selection process where they probably will ask that question. And
of course,
ask people who.
But they both get to switch people in and out. And the point is, out of the 12, he's saying, I find it hard. You're not going to have one person on there that is going to say, oh yeah, it for sure beyond reasonable doubt was a 30-06. And it's an interesting point.
We'll have to see the forensic evidence that they provide with the vertebrae.
So
where is the rest of the fragments or whatever?
So the other thing is, the forensic expert said, what you do in an autopsy is you would take, even if it's obliterated, it's gone, whatever, you would take out this whole area, C2 through C7 of the vertebrae, and you would save that, because if the defense wants to do their own autopsy, bring in their own people, which of course they're going to want to do, you would want to say that. He said it would fall below the standard if you didn't save everything here. He said he's talking everything: the jugular, the larynx, the spinal cord, the jugular. I think I already said jugular. The whatever. Look, you know. Was I paying attention or was I passing notes in class? The point is
you were
that
doing the thing. You were stealing homework passes.
That was early. You know, by the time we were learning about this, who knows what I was doing? You know, I was getting ready for my volleyball game.
Yeah.
But the point is that he was saying it would fall below the standard to not save everything in this area, and so
I would be shocked if it came up. I mean, I don't have any faith in this trial, so to speak.
And the longer they wait, the more these different experts are coming out, right? And they're saying these statements that the defense then can use to their benefit. Right?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a high level of trust at this juncture of like what the defense is trying to do. Right? Maybe they have everything in their back pocket because it hasn't gone to trial. We have to keep remember we haven't gone to trial yet. But
people are harping on the defense, but I thought the defense did a good job in a lot of ways, bringing up new information that I never heard of during the preliminary hearing. Right, there was that one police officer, the first guy on the roof, and she goes, "Is it true your body camera just died as soon as you made it on the roof?" No one knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, what a coincidence!
Yeah.
11 minutes into a shift, 14 minutes into a shift, the body cam footage that lasts 11, 12 hours. Now, in the trial, they might say, how many times is your body cam died immediately after? They also brought up a piece of information that nobody talked about before, that the Noble family that showed the Ring camera footage to officers told officers when they showed it that the person driving Tyler's so-called car was bald.
Yeah. Well,
we hadn't heard that before. We didn't know Blake Neff was driving around.
Allegedly.
So it's like, you know, like I thought they did a decent job. You know?
Maybe I'm coming down too hard on them. So I guess you
can't show all your cards.
You can't show all your cards. So I would ask you this question.
They know it's going to go to trial. The defense knows it's going to trial.
It's going to trial. I think he'll be convicted. But what information would you need if you're on the trial? If you're a juror, what information would you need to see to be like, all right, I think it was Tyler Robinson?
I would need forensics.
What kind of forensics?
I would need the ATF to examine what was on Charlie Kirk to show that there was remnants of a 30-06. And another thing, actually, when they had the ballistics expert and medical expert talking about the size of the bullet wound, the range that they gave didn't match the 30-06. It was a little small. So I would need to know. Like, I would need something substantial to say, without a doubt, where are the other three fragments? Right now, the way that this coverage is gone and the way everybody's talking about it, it's going to be hard, I think, for the prosecution to prove unless they have solid forensic evidence. And remember, we heard prior to this preliminary hearing from all these talking heads, all the TPS talking heads, we have a solid steel case. We have DNA evidence. There was dust in the barrel of the gun. They don't have shit as of right now.
Well, one other thing, too, that I want to make sure we talk about is the new Candace stuff where she presents this, like, very high quality screenshot or still image of Tyler Robinson in the parking garage. Do you have that?
I do. I think I pulled it up here. Okay. Do I share?
No.
How do I make it bigger? Oh, maybe like this. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
Well, I have a funny story.
Okay.
Before I tell it, Candace Owens releases new video footage. This is just a screenshot of it.
She didn't play any videos. It was all screenshots.
No, there was a walking video of him
Was
walking.
he walking?
Yeah, of him walking past the cars.
Because I tried to look for walking. I didn't see.
I put it in one of my videos.
Really?
It's just him walking. Yeah.
But it looks like this?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And anyway.
Oh, I think I did say it. No, right. I take it back. Yeah.
There's video.
There's video.
It's not long, but that's where the screenshot comes from.
Yeah.
And the reason people are looking at this is because, and what Candace brought up is that this individual's body looks a lot thicker than Tyler Robinson's, right? You look at the side-by-sides of Tyler Robinson and this guy. So Tyler Robinson either had 4 outfit changes and deflated his muscles.
But what is this footage? That's my question is where did this footage go? What is this?
So she's
Is this
saying,
like an AI enhanced?
No, she's saying this is unaltered footage.
From where?
She said she got it from a police officer or somebody that's like on the case. And
Okay, because that was my question. Because Grok wouldn't answer me.
Okay, so
because that was my question was: is this footage something that Candace's team enhanced to like fix the dimensions and things like that were not properly like shown to us, or was this like, hey, somebody handed her an SD card, said this is from the courthouse leak?
That's what she's kind of claiming, right? Something. Maybe it was just a clip. I don't think it was an SD card, but
I see. But like, here's somebody like directly. It's like if once we go to trial, like we're gonna see this footage.
So
that's
they
my
played
question.
the other footage in the preliminary hearing.
What do you mean the other footage?
This exact footage, but it was stretched.
It wasn't. Well,
let me show you.
It wasn't necessarily stretched. It was what was shown to us was a video camera capturing the video played on a screen that was at a 45-degree angle. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't stretched on purpose. Like, they didn't give it to us stretched. It was just because it was a film of a video.
That's
from,
what you think.
No, that's what it is. What do you mean it's what I think?
Well, you think that it was screen recorded.
It was screen. I have a thing.
I know, but I'm saying, and that's why Tyler Robinson looked all skinny walking. Who's supposed to be Tyler Robinson? And that Candace is showing the same footage, but because it wasn't at a 40-degree angle, he didn't look skinny.
Right.
What I'm saying, and my funny story is, I think they purposely stretched it because if you put this footage out there, no one believing those arms, that chest is Tyler Robinson, right? And my funny story is, when I was in college, they didn't have any of these photo editing apps, right? Your girl gained the freshman 15.
Okay.
My arm actually did look like the one in the photo that Maverick posted where it was a medieval turkey arm. And I used to go on for my MySpace page and I would stretch my photos so that I look skinnier. My legs would lengthen and all of a sudden, okay? So I think they did that.
I know. Well, so can I show you the thing and then you can respond to...
Let me just say, look
What?
at this grill of the Jeep.
No, I know, but what you're looking at isn't the full context of...
Well, you're saying the reason it looks like this is not because the feds presented it that way. It's because it was at a 45-degree angle. I understand.
Yeah, but like, no, but I'm not saying that you can actually just see that. There's a wider shot.
So you're saying...
Put it up.
You're saying
Courtroom
nobody in the courtroom that screen recorded this had a different angle?
Correct. This is because this is what's being shown. To pause it, it's because what we saw is a live stream. There's one camera in the courtroom that's broadcasting, and people are pulling that feed onto the other feeds, and that angle is taking a video of this television monitor that they're showing the video. So that's why the dimensions are not correct. It's not because they presented a stretched version. It's just because everybody just saw this version. And what you're seeing is a cropped in version. You don't see the witness that you see on the right there. It's just because it's a TV. You're looking at a TV at a 45-degree angle or 50. I don't know what the angle is. I'm just saying that the feds, in this case, I don't think they're purposely manipulating the footage to be stretched.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And based on this, because everybody has this, there's nobody else was allowed to film in the courtroom on their own phone or whatever. It was all coming from this feed.
Oh, and where does it say that if you film something at a 45-degree angle that it stretches the image longer to make a body look skinnier and the car?
Because you're twisting the screen. So if you're looking at it face on, the screen is this big, but then if I move it, then the screen is smaller. So then it will.
I'm just saying, like
look,
if we could do this experiment, I'd love to see if all of a sudden you put a picture of me, I look skinnier if you turn the camera 45-degree angle.
I think so. Let's try it.
You know?
Let's try. Here, I'll just look up a.
I'll do it to you.
What?
Because I'm already going to say no.
What do you mean?
You show me I'll turn the computer to you 45-degree angles, and you tell me if it looks skinnier.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're the one that's saying this is why.
Okay. So then okay. Here's some random lady.
Okay. So how do we determine 45 degrees?
Well, so the camera is like this. I'm trying to match it up to what we see on the screen.
I'm telling you right now, I'm turning the computer.
Here. I'm gonna take a photo of it face on, like directly on.
Okay.
All right. So here's if I have no angle, it's just right on. And so then I'm gonna twist it now this way.
Okay.
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 So I'm trying to match
Yeah,
it to the box. I mean, so maybe slightly more.
30, 44.
Okay. All right. So here's the two shots. So here is you're getting this unaltered, right? Straight on. And here she looks skinnier.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she does. She definitely looks She definitely looks skinnier. It's scrunched.
She doesn't though.
It is. It's scrunched.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying. I get
like her
it.
shoulders are broader in the face on one. Now it's off to the side, so it looks like she's a skinnier person.
It's this looks way more distorted.
And I don't know the angle. The thing is, I don't know what angle that. I mean, it looks to me like pretty like the TV is like twice as wide or twice as narrow as it should be, right? There's no TV that's a square.
Either way.
Right? Because that's a square.
Whether they stretched it or not. Sorry, this is yours. Whether they stretched it or not.
Yeah.
The straight on angle that we got from Candace does
It
not
looks
look
different.
like Tyler Robinson.
Right. And that's
the point.
That is a point.
If it's because the court video at a 45-degree angle, I outed to the world that I used to stretch my photos. And that's unfortunate. Right? That's unfortunate.
Well, no, it's not. It's taking accountability. It's all right. It's good. And so what I want to know later on is because Candace is claiming that basically that's the footage that everybody saw in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And so we'll see it at one point.
And so her point is all these people saying we had the 40, you could totally tell it's Tyler Robinson. She's going, the footage actually does the opposite.
Yeah.
And that has absolutely been the response online from everyday people going, that ain't him.
Yeah. But she is putting a lot of her own credibility on the line, I have to say, right? Because if it comes out later that footage is not correct, like she altered it in some way, she's going to lose a lot of credibility. Right? Because that's what we're expecting to see later. In the courtroom, like it should be that shot wide, that's the thing. It was not AI enhanced. Like a lot of people actually were claiming that was like some AI enhancement. Yeah. But she's saying it's not.
Well, yeah. And if I go back here, people were going off about this and they were running it through a AI detector. Mm-hmm. And that's 0.03%.
Yeah, but that's AI trying to detect AI. I don't trust those things.
Well, look, you got to use the tools. I'm just saying, people are using it. If it really was AI, like the Kate Middleton photos.
Okay, or the Mitch McConnell photos.
Right?
Yeah.
A much higher probability in these apps, so you can't pick and choose.
That's true.
And it says the body proportions and limb positions seem consistent with a real human figure captured in motion. I mean, we'll see.
That's right, because of the original. I agree with you because it was taken of a video of a television monitor and it was on a side angle. Those aren't the right dimensions for a human being, and now she's fixed it either through
fixed it, or
or if that's just the original footage. I don't know.
Or they're doing a
Yeah. I don't know. What are people in the chat saying?
A Dani tactic.
What's the chat saying on this?
I'm
curious.
I only trust AI when it saves my argument. It's true.
yeah.
For both of us.
Funny how that works. And actually, that's a big problem for AI.
It looks like nothing. Nothing, LOL. I see nothing. James Lee last week. Please don't talk. Try talking about anything technical observations without technical help, guys.
So they're on your side. Fine, whatever. I don't care.
No. White privilege camera lenses. I'm glad we can body shame again. Look, the 30-06 handles heavier bullet weights and higher velocities, yielding greater muzzle energy, whereas a 7.62 millimeter NATO matches about 90% of the performance with less powder. So that's like a gun expert right there. Bro, this is a fisheye lens. It's clear as day. This isn't up for debate what it is. Who knows?
Who knows?
This is the thing. The chat might love me in the moment, and then can the chat actually go to the comments? Once this is posted, do you mind? Because I get dragged. After this ends, I'm like, that was a great episode, and then it's like, Danny's too loud, Danny's this, Danny's that.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Although last week it was very favorable.
Well,
people are on the Fauci drag train, let me tell you.
Well, Fauci
Chugga,
did
choo.
a lot of criminal things. Anyway, all right. So, anything else before we all consume this, Fed slop against maybe Fed slop tomorrow?
Well, I have that Tyler Robinson timeline video, but it's quite lengthy. We could probably speed it up that Jimmy Dore posted.
Tyler Robinson timeline.
Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Want us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home.
Let's go 2x speed.
And then woke himself up before 4 a.m. on September 10th of 2025 because he had to leave his house in St. George before 4 a.m. to make it up to campus when they then catch him on walking by the neighbor's house at 8:07 a.m. That's that TMZ release footage. 8:07 a.m. Gets back in his car, pulls into the garage, finds the surveillance cameras in the garage, en route to go approach a Turning Point employee. So I'm going to wear my favorite shirt to approach a Turning Point employee because I intend to kill their boss. He said apparently, hey, is this where the Charlie Kirk event is going to be? And she probably was like, yeah, it is. He then went to Chick-fil-A on campus. We haven't seen any footage from that yet. We haven't been told much about that. My assumption is he had a meal before he decided it was time to do crime. He then drives off campus, parks, changes his outfit, puts on a long sleeve black shirt, puts on blue jeans, and he says to himself, before we do crime, we do Wordle.
Oh, he did a Wordle?
At 11:28, he sent his Wordle score to his friend. The word of the day was pouty, in case you're wondering. Then he shoves a broken down German 98 Mauser into his pants, and he starts limping back onto campus with a new hat, a new backpack, and we all know what happens next. He then jumps off of the building after killing Charlie Kirk, lands onto solid ground, like he had been practicing that maneuver. And what we know for certain is that he then changes back into his maroon shirt, but he leaves the jeans on. He's then spotted at Dairy Queen. He really loves that shirt. He then departs Orem and drives 3 hours down to Panwich, to the Cowboy Steakhouse, where he seats himself at the bar and he orders a steak combo with a soft drink. I want to emphasize that. No alcohol, presumably because he doesn't want to drive irresponsibly and, risking getting a DUI. Probably doesn't want to hurt anybody. So after that steak, he drives back up to Orem. Long drive. Another 3 hours, this time because he wants to retrieve his rifle during what is the largest federal manhunt of my lifetime and probably every single person who's listening to this podcast lifetime. But Tyler's feeling lucky because he's wearing his maroon shirt. His favorite shirt. He returns to the scene of the crime, and if I'm understanding now, Tyler stopped his car to ask the police officer a question. So he commits a murder, drives for 3 hours, and is feeling confident enough to actually ask the police officer a question. I want to point out that he's been awake for a long time now. At some point, he gives up and he says, I'm not going to retrieve my rifle, and he decides to drive the 4 hours back to his apartment in St. George. So we can make a safe estimate that he left Orem around 1:35 a.m., and then he drives back to St. George and arrives earliest at 5 a.m. I'm just wondering if anybody tested Tyler Robinson for cocaine or meth, because according to this breakdown, he's been awake for 25 hours straight, during which he has driven an approximate 13 hours and 20 minutes. 13 hours and 20 minutes of driving, up for 25 hours. Now, for clarity, in 13 hours and 20 minutes, you could drive from New Orleans, Louisiana to Chicago in that time frame. You could drive from Atlanta, Georgia to New York City in that time frame. Tyler Robinson, just driving about. He decided he just was going to go around Utah after committing his first assassination. And if you're thinking, okay, 25 hours is long, he probably then went to sleep. You'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong. If you're thinking, well, he must have at least when he finally got home showered and changed his shirt, you'd be forgetting that this is his favorite one. What happens, according to the narrative, is he stays home for an hour before he heads back out again, this time driving about an hour away to Cedar City, because that's where he's captured on gas station footage filling up his tank, and we don't actually have an answer for why he went to get gas that far away. But apparently, this young man just loves to drive, so why get gas local when you can get gas an hour away? And then we know he will drive back home. This is according to Lance's testimony. Lance will testify that he sees him when he wakes up. They're face-to-face in their apartment. He still hasn't changed his shirt, I don't think. And we're just supposed to accept it. I don't know, guys. I think that one day many books will be written regarding the stupidity, the sheer stupidity of the Fed slap. And I'm probably gonna write a book entitled "I Went All the Way to Orem to Commit an Assassination. All I Got Was a Maroon T-Shirt?" Question mark? Because that's what this feels like. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this: if you are going to commit a capital offense, please remember to wear your second favorite shirt.
I mean, look, it was a miracle. They've said it over and over. It's a miracle. Everything had to go right. It doesn't quite make a lot of sense why he did so much driving. Why did he drive 3 hours to Panguitch and then drive 3 hours back to collect the rifle? What the hell was that all about?
Look,
Like we're gonna assume not all humans are logical all the time, right? Because a lot of times, it's like, okay, it's not logical to do, but some people act illogically. But he's acting illogically in almost every step of that timeline.
And remember, in the very beginning, they were presenting him as this like gifted
savant.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really seem like something a gifted person would do.
Right.
Anyways.
Well,
cuffs are back on.
Yes. Anything else here?
Well, I did the chat, or the element that was deleted was a Crazy Days and Nights blind from December 4th. I told you it was January. I looked it up. It was December 4th, saying that Caroline Levitt was going to step down at the end of next year. She did. And I saw Shipwreck, another podcaster, content creator, commented this: think what you want, but this is a better mom than Erica Kirk. I said what I said.
Yeah.
Just thought that was a true point.
Agree. Well, if we're going to bring up a random, I'm going to bring up my random to end the show. Benny Blanco, new album. I'm going to promote it for free for him right here. What do you think of this album right here?
Wait,
That's the album cover.
Wow.
Hermoso coming out tomorrow, I think, or something like that.
Interesting.
And people pointing out, I think it's kind of weird. You let me know if you think it's weird or not. That it's very weird that he is making this entire persona of a downtrodden Latino man when he's a Jewish guy from Virginia.
Oh, that is interesting. I just think he's, maybe that's what he's doing, but.
Well, I also think
he's playing up the fact that he's the ugly one, I think, in the relationship with Selena Gomez, because everybody drags him for that.
Yeah.
I
didn't know too much about him, to be honest.
That's all I know about him. I love Murders in the Building.
That he's Selena Gomez's husband.
I don't really know like Selena Gomez, from other stuff. She wasn't in my, realm, but I love Murders in the Building. I love Martin Short. And Steve Martin's great too. Yeah. But Martin Short is like one of the funniest of all time, I think.
Yeah, this might be one of those just like, I think people will talk about it and it'll, like I'm talking about it now, whereas I wouldn't have talked about it if it was a normal looking album cover, but no, he's got to make himself into this caricature of a Latino guy.
I don't know.
It's kind of crazy.
Maybe people think he is. I didn't know what he was, his background, but Selena obviously is Latina.
Yeah, but then
So I don't know what
he looks kind of Latino. Does he not? Let's pull up a picture of Benny Blanco.
No, he does. That's why I'm saying, like, who knows?
Here, just go to a tab. Pull up a regular Benny Blanco photo. Not in that format. Okay.
This is like Laura Loomer.
I don't know. He looks kind of Latino.
He totally could. 100%. He could go either way.
He could go either like just fully Jewish or Latino.
You never know,
You don't know. I mean, that's there's crossover there, but I mean, yeah.
So
Selena, unbelievable.
He looks like he could be in,
just has a huge dick, probably.
Like a cartel.
How did you get Selena Gomez? What's the story there? You don't know.
He must be funny. I don't know. Look.
Anyways.
But girls. It's not all about the looks. Looks fade for everybody.
No, not Kris Jenner. Didn't fade.
Well, look, she's paying $1 million for a facelift. And she was pretty. She was always pretty, Kris Jenner.
Yeah, so it didn't fade.
Well, no, she's kept it up. I mean, I'm just saying.
You said looks fade. I gave you an example if it didn't fade.
They faded. You can still tell she's old, but the facelift is
No. Old is different than beauty fading, okay? Compare her to some... grandma figure or whatever, it's very different. Old does not necessarily mean the beauty has faded.
Look at.
I don't know why I'm defending Kris Jenner. It's insane. Let's end the show. Let's get out of here.
Look,
go.
my mom will love this.
Exactly. Your mother.
My mother
looks older than she did look. but doesn't mean the beauty faded.
'Kay.
Tell her that. Tell her I said that.
You're no longer invited to Easter with that comment. She looked older than she looks. You're cut off the list.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. No, she, people think she's my sister.
It's like a fine wine, you know what I'm saying?
People think she's my sister, even now, right? Like, people are like, oh my God, you're her mom? And of course, there's a part of me where I'm like so happy she's getting complimented, but I'm like,
How old do I look?
like, what is going on here? No, but she takes very good care of herself, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Better with age.
Better with age. Let's end it there for today.
Oh, here's the Charlie tweet that I wanted to find.
Oh, okay. We can't end it yet.
Well, this is the one I wanted you to have. Epstein calendar reveals he met with CIA Director William Burns, Henry Kissinger, Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Barak, Obama White House counsel, Catherine Rumler, a Rothschild, all after he was a registered sex offender.
Those are all true things that have now been proven through the Epstein files.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
saying he had a lot of different tweets like this. And
I think he knew this because some of this stuff came out during the Ghislaine Maxwell case. It was in the Epstein.
This isn't the one I was talking
binders.
about. But yeah.
That information may have been in the binders. I'm not 100% sure
Yeah.
if they were all in the binders, but a lot of that was in the binders.
Mhm.
The 1.0 binders.
This isn't the one that I was referring to, but I don't know. Maybe you could put. But you know what else is interesting?
What?
You know who else met Henry Kissinger?
George Zinn.
Yes. Correct.
George Zinn.
George Zinn, who apparently did a new podcast.
What? Another podcast?
Yeah,
Should we get him on the pod?
I would love to.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's get him on then.
Are you kidding?
Why could
That
we-
would be next level.
What? You rather interview George Zinn versus like, I don't know, Sam Tripoli or whoever?
We've already interviewed Sam
I
Tripoli.
know, but-
Yes.
Okay.
And I love Sam.
Yeah.
Let me know if you got the cross. I sent him a
I
gift.
know.
I haven't heard anything. Not to out him publicly, but a text, TY. So, TY got the cross. Emoji got the cross symbol.
All right, that was a great show. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you to the Patreon subscribers. We might be making some updates to the studio coming up. We'll see. I've been talking to Dani offline about some potential options to expand this studio space so then we could bring a guest here. We would have
Which,
to change
by
up
the
a little
way,
bit of the table.
requires manual labor for me.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm going to be wallpapering.
A little wallpaper. We might have to get a new table. We might have to get a new setup for this. I don't know yet.
We'll see.
We'll see. But we certainly have to get a new
Somebody
side
said,
table.
when you interview him, hopefully he keeps his pants on. Great point.
Yeah. Why were his pants coming out? Well, that was to set up the CP thing, right?
Yes.
Because now people were like, oh, yeah, he took his pants off at the Charlie Kirk thing.
Well, no, they found it on his phone, the
Well, I
CP,
know.
after they arrested him and then said, no interviews.
Well, correct. But I'm saying that now people find the CP very credible because he took his pants off in public. Right? It's like he wasn't some button-up like guy. Now you have a reason to suspect.
That's another, interesting point in the whole, just to wrap up the weirdness of the Charlie Kirk assassination where things don't make sense. Obviously, that was a weird situation, right? He's been to Ronald Reagan's funeral, Henry Kissinger. He's only worked at a thrift store for the Mormon thing. He did his mission in Langley, Virginia.
Not in Langley, near.
40 miles from Langley,
Yeah.
okay? And, had these low-paying jobs, but he's in a 9/11 documentary. He's at the Boston bombing, and then he's at the Charlie Kirk assassination. And he said on this other podcast he was doing work with TPUSA.
Yeah.
Weird. All right,
All
we're
right.
going to end the show.
We're going to end the show. We're going to see you guys next week, potentially, I think, back on a regular day on Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll see, depending on Dani's schedule.
Look, you were in New York this week. Don't blame it on me. We had to make sure you were healthy.
Okay. Fair enough.
But love you guys. Thank you guys so much for engaging in all the comments. And let us know what you think about all of this down below. Bye.